Hello and welcome to this week's Street Talk for a very fun week of Coronation Street. This is a great week, wasn't it? I can't remember the last time I was on the edge of my seat so much, particularly for something that's, not particularly stunty or explosive. This was just proper story and character-led drama with some brilliant cliffhangers. And like I said on the short for today's episode, the sort of week where as the episode finishes, you're like, oh, why can't the next one be ready? I'm eagerly anticipating sometimes, and I'm sure we're all the same. If it's a Coronation Street day, it's like, okay, yeah, Corrie's on. Well, every day's a Coronation Street day now, isn't it? It's like, okay, Corrie's on tonight. Yeah, I wonder what's going to happen. But this week has very much been I can't wait to find out what's going to happen next.
Yes, I do know. I've been enjoying it. I think it's brilliant. I love conflict.
There's been certainly conflict. There's been revelations aplenty. There's been secrets galore. Well, secrets revealed to people. Yeah. There's been an awful lot of shocked faces, an awful lot of penny dropping realization faces this week, and a few making you think one thing's going to happen, but actually, twists. Yeah, like when Eva this week looked like she wasn't going to believe what was going on with Will, and then she's like, I don't believe a flaming word of her. Like, she does believe. So it was so fun. And considering that this is a story that a lot of people were not too pleased about when it first started, was it worth it? I don't know.
What do you mean?
Lots been said about the fact that the Driscolls have been brought in and the new family, and they were immediately plunged into the depths of a really murky, grubby, mucky sort of storyline about
traumatic and unpleasant.
Yeah, about grooming this child, and it's like, hold your horses, Coronation Street. Let us get to know the characters first. And I still would say that, would this story have been any worse if they'd left it 6 months to get started? Probably not, but yeah, I'm certain I never thought, going back 3 months ago, whenever it was that this started, I never thought that there'd be a week where I'd be quite so invested and excited about what was happening. I don't know, do you think they should have held off before launching this story?
I was thinking, would this story have worked any differently if they'd taken established characters? Because it could have had Megan be a chess coach and done this to Sam. And we would have actually seen the process of it, because when the characters Megan and Will enter the show, that it's established already, we don't see the process of the grooming. No,
that was a big twist, like in their first or second week, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's working really well.
I think it is as well. And even though they're not established characters, I'm not watching them this week going, oh, what are these bunch of newbies doing? I don't care about them. I mean, I think Eva being the thread, and Leanne, and to a lesser extent Toya, the fact that they're involved in it is helping to anchor it in the Corrie that we have known and loved for so many years. But I think that, I've been very upfront about how much I've enjoyed Ben, and I think he was still great this week. Maggie on fine form most of the week. There's been a few times where I was like, oh no, why did they make you say that, Maggie?
It took a while,
and Daniel as well, I suppose, as well. They've just about got enough hooks with the established characters that I'm not particularly bothered that, this time 6 months ago we had no idea who the Driscolls were.
Yeah, it's taken a while to pay off this gamble of giving them a big story to make us care about them, but it really, I think it's paying back now. What do you know?
Yeah, I think so. The big thing is, I would say at this stage, I still don't really care that much for Will.
A lot of people don't like this character.
He was never that much of a likeable character. Even when he was sitting on the stairs sobbing his eyes out this week, I was left fairly cold. I mean, I totally get that he's supposed to be the victim in this.
Well, he is the victim.
He is the victim in that. Yeah, no, he's been written to be the victim in this because he is the victim in this. But I'm also watching it going, I would feel more if this were a character that I cared about. If this were a Sam or a Joseph. I know he's a bit young, or a Liam or Jake. Maybe not Jake. I think we probably know Will better than we know Jake at this stage.
Yeah.
But everything else around it is working really, really well for me. And I didn't go into this week knowing what kind of week this would be. We saw that there were some TV mag pictures, weren't there, with Leanne and Eva on the front, but there were a lot of developments still this week that I was not going into Monday's episode expecting. So it's been a real joy to be able to sit down every day and go, oh, what's going to happen today?
The thing is, the story isn't really about Will. It was about Will and Megan to begin with, and now it's moved away. And I know that there's going to be criticism, which is fair enough, to say the victim should be the central part of the story. But this whole... it's now turned into like conflict between characters and family members and
well, the
community.
fact that they've brought in Adam as Megan's solicitor,
Yeah.
which is a silly move. But
What is the silly move?
Well, just, as in real
whose
life,
part?
and I know that Adam has said, well, everyone's got right to legal representation, I'm just doing my job. But come on. I suppose knowing that it was going to be yet another case that would pit him against his neighbours, you'd have thought he'd have learned a lesson by now.
No, he doesn't care. This is what's hilarious about him. He literally will not learn. And if he does know, he doesn't care that people get mad about it.
It's just Alia, isn't it, that she's in the middle.
I know. Alia's spent so long judging people who take on cases for people who she thinks don't deserve representation. She's shocked when people say it back to her.
I know. I suppose when Adam took on the case as well, he thought that he was being on Daniel's side, wasn't he? It's just that in today's episode...
Daniel asked him and he didn't want to do it, and now he's thinking... don't tell me what to do.
Yeah. Anyway.
He's a very stubborn guy, and I think he's, one thing he didn't say which annoyed me is that we have to make sure that Megan gets proper representation in court, because there can be no reason, if she's found guilty, that she gets let off on a technicality. Like, I guess he wouldn't say that, but that really is the strongest argument you can ever make for representing somebody who you think is a heinous criminal and should be punished. They deserve to be represented, because if they're that bad, you'll find them guilty anyway. And you don't ever want to give an opportunity or an opening for the defence to say, well, you didn't... it wasn't a proper trial because blah, 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 blah.
I will say that what's not completely hitting right for me, and it's kind of very glaringly obvious to me, is that why are they still not using the lawyer's office? And because he's not just involved in this storyline, is it? He's got his little storyline with Rich, and everything he's doing is either in the cafe or the bistro or speed dial, and it just sticks out like a sore thumb that the office set clearly hasn't been constructed yet. But why not?
I know, they've got this storyline that involves this legal process.
Yeah.
And they want lawyers in it. They've got a company of lawyers who are going out with each other.
It's one thing saying, well, we're not constructing the cabin set at the moment because we haven't got any stories that really feel like they have to take place in the cabin. But this story, both of these stories, they need to have an office there.
I agree with you.
I suppose, you could say, well, if they have them in the cafe, then maybe somebody can walk in and overhear something. But that's just ridiculous. It makes it even sillier, doesn't it?
Well, the amount of times also that they're talking about people that have got somewhere to go who don't and insist on going somewhere else. Megan and Will just having conversations in her car.
Oh, in today's episode at the precinct.
Where literally... both Maggie and Ben have taken or been to speak to Will about incredibly personal and private things, just in public.
That whole scene in the car today was like, what on earth are you doing sitting there? I mean, they could have at least put them on that, the road where
Further
Seb
up.
got beaten up, because at least we can believe then, or to have it out on Noble Street. At least you could believe there's not likely to be somebody from Coronation Street walking past there. No, maybe not that.
Why?
Well, people are always going to Freshcos, aren't they?
No, they're not.
Oh, I don't know. Not in the age of online shopping, I suppose.
They're definitely. It's not depicted as being near where they live. That people are walking around in the car park.
Well, honestly, they could just go and
Didn't have
sit
to be...
them outside the studios on the steps of the Imperial War Museum and film it there. It's a shame that some of these little production necessities, I assume they've got to be necessities, are making a few things feel a little bit less realistic in real life. Because no way, if I was in Meghan's shoes, would I be wanting to have my secret meeting in a place where literally Grandma had been shopping there earlier today. Toya and Leanne had been there. Literally, somebody
Sam
passes.
was there. Ben was there.
Yeah.
Everybody hangs out.
It's ridiculous. It's really
because that bakery is really good.
Yeah, I suppose it is. Anyway, we've got a lot more to talk about that story probably later, and there were other stories too. But Gemma, do you have some clickbait to tease us with and maybe elicit a little bit more discussion as well? Thank you very much, Jonathan, for sending the clickbait over as always.
Oh.
What have you got this week?
Something's going on with my phone.
Yeah, Gemma is in desperate need of a new phone at the moment.
What did I do with it?
But sometimes she just puts something somewhere and then can't find it again. Don't worry about it.
Right, okay. Coronation Street fans rumble Meghan Walsh twist to avoid Will Driscoll justice from the Manchester Evening News.
A twist to avoid Will.
Rumble Meghan's twist to avoid Will justice.
Are all of these clickbait articles still relevant after watching Friday's episode? There's not anything that's going to say, well, they already talked about that on the show.
No, I don't think so.
So something that could see her getting off scot-free, right? I've seen a few people supposing that maybe at the end of the day the baby will be Daniel's after all.
I said that.
Yeah, I've seen. Yeah, you said it. I've seen people. Is that what this article is saying?
It's along those lines.
Not actually pregnant. No.
Well, she's not said I'm not pregnant. So, in your face, has she?
Okay, so what is it then? What have we got?
It's people saying the baby could be the other kid.
Oh yes, the boy from Hull. I
Yeah.
can't remember what his name was. In a way, you might say, well, what was the point of bringing in that character? But I think at the time, it was just a way of making it clear that she's a serial abuser, and maybe...
In case anybody had any weird ideas, it's not because they're a love that can never... it's her being a predator.
Well, I didn't get any impression, and my memory's a little bit foggy on it at the moment. I didn't get any impression that anything had happened between the two of those. When they spoke to each other, it felt like that they hadn't seen each other for quite a while, and certainly not, in December or whenever it was that she was supposed to have got pregnant. So I don't mind the theory, but I think that you're probably barking up the wrong tree with that one.
Coronation Street fans issue complaint as Meghan Walsh arrested after grooming exposed.
The same complaint about Meghan being arrested.
It's not the same complaint.
You just said Coronation Street fans issue the same complaint.
Issue complaint. I didn't say the same.
Oh God, it's really hard being on the other side of these clickbaits, isn't it? What were people complaining about Meghan being arrested? Who's going to teach her PE class that afternoon?
What about all those other gifted athletes?
Yeah, exactly. No.
No.
What is it? I'm not guessing too long today.
All right. It is that they didn't want Kit involved in the story. They didn't want Kit there.
Yeah, he does seem to be single-handedly running that police station at the moment. I don't know what is Lisa just too busy on babysitting duty.
Lisa should do it, or they were saying that a specialist would be doing it.
Yes, I did actually see some people online. I can't remember where it was, whether it was Digital Spy or someone saying, actually, in a sensitive case like this, it wouldn't just be your local DC that would be doing all the questioning, and
where's the fun of
the
that?
procedures would certainly be a little bit different. It might be something about feedback
baby.
section to that actually that suggested
that. I think a lot of people were saying, I think Lisa should do it, but I actually appreciated the fact that it was another man. I
actually fairly appreciated Kit on a rare occasion this week when he was not doing anything to try and, he was with Mal at the beginning of the week, but once he got his teeth into this job, he looked like he was doing a pretty professional, serious job of it. Yeah.
I think he's a good choice. I know in real life he probably would not be the person that interviewed him, but I think he's a good choice because he is young. and he's a sort of a person that Will might look up to, and he's also like a very laddie kind of blokey kind of bloke. You know, I think people saying Lisa were like, oh, she's more maternal and caring and stuff. I don't know that Lisa is particularly, but
I think that Will would probably have more likely to have responded to Kit than somebody like Lisa.
It's difficult to know, because you want to offer somebody support from the same, you know, gender or sex as the person if they're being groomed, especially, you know, sexual. But you wouldn't have a man come and interview a woman who'd been sexually assaulted, would you? You wouldn't want that to happen. But when it's a young person, often women are more approachable. Yeah, for anybody, sometimes women are more approachable.
I agree, but I think that had Will been there with Lisa questioning her, he'd have been, I don't need to talk to you. You're just acting like one of the teachers at school. You're just acting like my mum or something like that. And maybe one might say that Kit was more down on Will's level to try and get an answer out of him. I don't know.
He's not on anyone's level.
No, I know. He's very, very high.
Coronation Street fans work out who kills evil Meghan and its unexpected resident from the Liverpool Echo.
I've certainly seen theories leaning closer towards the Meghan is the victim in the 23rd of April flash forward.
Meghan is the victim in the crime that happens in the future, not the victim now.
Yes. It's. I mean, that's what we said right from the beginning, and it seems to fit. But you're naturally going to say that, and I think this is what Coronation Street want to happen, isn't it? Like, on a week that's focused on Meghan, of course, everyone's going to say it's Meghan that's been killed. But if you kind of look forward, and maybe next week's all about Jodie, or next week's all about Carl, people will just be saying it's going to be Jodie that's going to be killed. It's going to be Carl.
This is a question about who it is that kills her. Everybody's assuming that she's going to be the victim, like you said.
Yeah.
Who do you think's going to?
I saw one person suggesting Sam might kill her.
Yeah.
Is that what this one's saying?
No.
I mean, Will could be an option, couldn't he?
Yeah.
Like, if the scales are going to fall from his eyes, and he is an angry sort, and I certainly wouldn't mind him being put away as well, once this story's been done with. I mean, Maggie's not a surprise killer, so I wouldn't have thought that the article would be referring to her. I've seen all sorts being suggested. Is it going to be Leanne? Is it going to be Eva? Is it going to be Toya? Is that any of those
You
ones?
haven't said the person yet.
Ben?
Nope.
Daniel?
Nope.
There's nobody left.
This is completely out of left field. This person is so boring.
Alia.
No.
Oh, no, sorry, Alia. Who is it? Ollie to kill Meghan.
I don't think he's got it in him.
I don't think he's got it in him, but he could concoct.
Give it salmonella.
Yeah, exactly. Some kind of poisonous, untraceable something or other to put in the food that he serves her. No, I definitely don't think that he's got it in him to kill her. I mean...
Well, we said that about Joel. Coronation Street returns sealed for soap legend to take down Theo.
What?
Who's going to come back into the show who's not in it now to rescue poor Toddington?
God, I don't know. Jason.
Yes.
Is he? Okay.
No, he's not going to, but that is the guess.
That is the
from
guess from the Express. Okay. I don't think so. I mean, I would say that Todd has got a lot of the means to rescue himself at this point, but he just doesn't seem to be able to do it.
It's quite a frustrating story.
It's the way
it's being told.
Yeah, you've been frustrated for a little while about this one, and I was definitely feeling it this week. But it was only a small portion of this week's story. I assume it's going to take more centre stage next week. Like you pointed out the other day, they haven't mentioned the fact that the wedding was supposed to be taking place on Wednesday, was it?
Yeah.
I mean,
next week, isn't it?
I still don't think, and I've not seen, again, I always have to preface this with I have not seen any spoilers for next week, so I've got no idea about this. But I'm kind of thinking that maybe the way that this storyline is going to go at the moment is Theo is clearly trying to get Todd back together with him. I think he kind of wants Todd to be the one that asks him back at this stage.
He wants him to beg, and then he's got all the power.
Yeah, and then he'll be able to say, "Oh, well, we were supposed to be getting married on Wednesday. It's not too late."
Let's just do
but
it.
it's just if they do go down that route, and Todd is the new Mr. Silverton, and this time next week, why has nobody mentioned it? It was like an offhanded comment
seems
on the
really
Flash
silly.
Forward episode, and nothing has been said about it
You
since.
would have brought it up. You would have brought it up.
Oh, we'll have to cancel the register office, or
Yeah, I can't believe we were going to get married and it's come to this.
yeah, it's
Next
really,
week would
really
have been our
peculiar.
wedding day.
Because even when they, we didn't even see a proposal, did we?
No.
It was dropped in like offhandedly on a piece of dialogue at the end of the Flash Forward episode. Oh, you'll be not going to be able to escape me on the 25th of March or whatever it was that was said. And it was like a dream.
Yeah, I know. It's
And
like,
I think
it's like
if-
we hallucinate it.
And I guarantee that if they do revisit the idea of this wedding next week, there are definitely going to be a heck of a lot of viewers out there that go, they were engaged.
Yeah.
I suppose they did have that scene, didn't they, where Theo took his ring off and gave it to Todd. But even then,
It
wasn't
really
here's my
obvious.
engagement ring.
I
You
know.
know we're engaged, my fiancé or my
Sometimes
ex-fiancé.
I have to be spoon-fed, I'm afraid. I hold my hand up there.
Yeah, it's a weird miss, I would say, but I mean, it wouldn't surprise me at all if they do go down that route next week after the whole marathon fail, which again is starting to feel we're back into the we've seen this before, haven't we?
Yeah.
This was like when Todd was supposed to go to that funeral of the special local dignitary, I think it was, and didn't Theo get him drunk then and then not put his alarm on, and then he ended up missing it. It feels like he's just using the same tricks again and again and again, and maybe some abusers do that, but as a viewer it's just feeling a little bit round in circles-y. And they said marathon's tomorrow, and then they could have just said Monday. But then I suppose
Nobody has a marathon on Monday.
But I suppose, if it had been Monday, then why would Todd have still been sleeping for 2 days? But they could have
Sleeping
just
Beauty.
they could have just organised
They
it
always
better.
could have just done
They could.
something,
They.
couldn't
You're obviously not caring at all about this.
Me?
But why not just make the marathon on Friday today, and then yesterday they could have had Theo not setting the alarm properly. I just hate it when they don't have weekends. But I won't get into that. Any more clickbaits, or are we done?
One more.
One more.
Right, so this isn't about this week. This is a
Okay.
blast from the past. I'm a Coronation Street icon, and this moment on set had my heart pounding out my chest.
Really? Oh
Yeah.
gosh, I couldn't. Well,
Be anyone.
it could. That's a hard
Anything.
one.
I know it is, yeah.
Can I have like a clue about what the moment was, or can I have
What
a
do
clue
you think
about?
would be the most nerve-wracking thing that anyone's ever done in Coronation Street?
I don't know. I mean, some of the stunts that they did back in the old days didn't seem to have any health and safety put into them. Was it anything related to that?
What do you think the biggest thing they've ever done on Corrie is? What's the most exciting thing they've ever done?
I don't know. My head's just going towards diving into the canal again because that's the one that everybody says. God, you give me. I was gonna have to have a few more clues than that.
I've already given you loads of bloody clues.
You've not
It's
given me
probably
any
the
clues
most
at all.
exciting thing that's ever happened.
Tram crash.
Yes.
Okay. So somebody has said that some particular moment of the tram crash left their heart jumping out of their chest. Who would have been talking with the press recently? Is
What
it
would have been the most exciting thing of that week?
the explosion? No. The train coming off the tracks? No.
Well,
Well, I don't know.
is it not going to be the live episode?
The live episode, yes, maybe.
What-
Was it?
Yeah.
Sally Metcalf.
No.
Okay. What was it?
What would be the? How would you? What's the person who probably had the biggest pressure on them? On the live episode.
Oh, definitely Rita. I don't know. The biggest pressure on the live episode? I don't know. Molly.
What would be?
Ashley,
What would be?
Nick.
What would be the thing that would intimidate you the most?
I don't remember. The whole tram crash has just disappeared.
In general,
out of my
doing
head.
anything. It could be a live play. It could be having to do a presentation.
Was it Peter pretending to be dead and nearly dying in hospital? No.
No, that's easy. You just lie in bed.
Okay, go on. What was it?
Being the first person to speak.
Yeah.
Who was that?
I don't remember.
It was Sean.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is an article about Anthony Cotton saying
Anthony
the first
Cotton.
line of the live episode.
Yeah, I'm sorry it doesn't impress you.
Oh, well.
I think this is really interesting. I can't believe we're being such a bitch about this. Anthony, you like Sean as a character in the tram crash. It's great, and we just done loads of work on the anniversary of the tram crash. This is a new bit of information that's come out where Anthony Cotton's spoken about the fact that he was very nervous about coming out. He said it was a live episode. He had to run out the pub and shout, "What's happened?" And he said it was the first and only time we could hear the theme tune in our earphones.
Oh, that is quite interesting.
Normally, somebody just says, turning over in 3, 2, 1, action. But because it was live, I could hear the theme tune, and I was thinking, how long does the theme tune last? So this was an interview that he did with, it was kind of a weird, Smooth Spins Casino. I don't know why he's doing this interview with them. No. But it was reported on the Belfast Live.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Okay, right, let's get cracking with what was going on in this week's Coronation Street then, at last. Only 4 stories, really. We had the Will Groomed storyline first, which really is going to take the lion's share of the discussion this episode, I'm sure. There was a little bit more of the Toddaloo story with Todd and Theo's departure from each other, but looking like they're going to be getting back together very, very soon. Filthy Rich is my one new storyline title for this week, because Rich is a bit of a dirty dog, isn't he?
I think he's right.
I know, I'm really, really enjoying him.
I'm on his side.
He's definitely... sometimes you just want a side of the villains, don't you?
Yeah, because the main character is being goody two shoes or annoying or something.
Or just dull, yeah. I totally.
Down with the boring.
I'm really enjoying Rich. He's just got a really creepy vibe about him, hasn't he?
And his voice is so good.
Yeah. He's fun.
He's got such a great look. He just looks like a villain.
Yeah, I know. I bet he's never been cast as a hero in anything.
No,
he's just
the
got
thing
that
is,
wrong-uns look about him.
They're also really good. It's not just your features, obviously. Otherwise, I wouldn't be saying it. But it's the way he it's the way he looks and his expression and the way his voice and the clothes they put him in too. Anyone who dresses nicely in Coronation Street is trouble.
Finally, we have got the Mal à la tête storyline. After he got bonked on the head a few weeks ago, Mal is awake. Does he know who his attacker was? It's seeming that way. Gemma, I've done lots of talking already today, so I'm going to let you do the main synopsising for the Will storyline, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, this was just drama central this week. I was just saying banging, banging, banging all week, wasn't I?
Yeah.
Not quite all week, but what a great week. So, Monday, inset day. But Sam's not got time to dilly-dally.
He's got revision to do. He's got his matter revision to do.
He sees Eva and Susie talking to Megan and he sort of avoids them by ducking into the cafe.
This was a good ensemble week. Because more at the beginning of the week, Sam was the main focus, wasn't it? And then he got a bit more of a rest in the second half. But Jude Jordan has been absolutely superb this week. Did you see it was his dad that did some of the directing on some of the episodes as well? But we've been praising his performance on Coronation Street ever since he started it, 5-6 years ago, and this is one of his biggest weeks ever. I really, really thought it was fab this week.
Yeah, he then in the cafe he has some flashbacks and starts sweating, and Nina asks him if he's okay and offers him breakfast, but he downs some more pills. It looks really worse for wear. And he's out in the street. He starts walking, and we get a bit of Digby Chicken Caesar camera work of him stumbling, and the camera's like right in his face. So and it's shaking as he's moving up and down, which I will never not find comical.
It's ridiculous. Like, this week was so good, and when you got something as naff and as cheesy as the camera in somebody's face as they're stumbling around and silly flashback going on in your head, and you just watch that going, what on earth am I watching here? This isn't Corrie. This isn't anything. This is just like terrible, terrible production.
No,
and then in the rest, no, it is. And then the rest of the week, you get, oh, the script is actually pretty good here. Oh, the plotting, that's what's keeping me engaged. Some really great performances. You don't need what we got with Sam there. It was utterly superfluous and pointless and ridiculous. We could have had him running off and falling over without any of that pants editing.
I don't know. It might have looked a bit weird if we weren't intimately understanding why. If he's just running and then he falls over, it could have looked quite silly.
Won't have it. We went many years of Coronation Street, and plenty of other soaps and other TV productions in general have had somebody falling over and fainting without having to build us up with a stupid camera effects.
The technique is not inherently wrong, but unfortunately for me, it has been forever ruined by that Mitchell and Webb looks Sir Digby Chicken Caesar sketches, which I never found funny. I always thought they weren't that funny.
I thought they were one of the weakest bits of the show, to be honest.
But if you go on YouTube and you search for Sir Digby Chicken Caesar, you will understand why every time I see this POV, it's not POV, but like in your face camera angle, it just makes me laugh, and I sing the theme tune of that in my head.
Thing is, Corrie must know as well.
But it's the same as the Peep Show stuff when they had Shona and David doing internal thoughts and then saying something different. I just can't shake it. Once it's just been used in a really iconic, funny way, and it's ruined forever, I'm afraid.
But at least when they did that with David and Shona, there seemed like a point to it, and I appreciated like getting inside the heads of the characters. And yes, it did make me think of Peep Show, but this is just gets you such the complete opposite of what they're going for. You're supposed to be feeling what the character's feeling, being able to experience like, oh, I'm really empathising with this character so much. I also can't hear or see straight. But it's not. It just makes you laugh and roll your eyes. Like, why do they keep on doing it?
In my head, if I imagine them trying not to do it with any kind of camera techniques, it looks like, and this is a spoiler for Kill Bill, so don't listen if you haven't watched it, but I think you might have realised that at the end of the film, they killed Bill. And so the bit where Bill stands up after getting the 5-point
palm exploding heart technique. Sorry.
He gets up and he takes 5 steps and collapses, and it was so anticlimactic and hilarious. In my mind, I just see Sam going step, 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 plop.
There must have been a better way. Even if they'd chased him outside and they'd found him there collapsed and we hadn't seen the fall itself. Something.
Well, you direct it then.
But did we even see the fall? I can't even remember now. But honestly, what a bad start to a great week.
Well, he collapses on the floor and he gets put into an ambulance.
Yes, he does.
And Nick runs over and paramedic Absolute Grass says, "Oh, has he got ADHD? So I've just found these pills on him."
At least that answered the question of what those pills had been, because although it was fairly obvious, we had been speculating last week, like, is he taking something to make him sick? Is it something else?
Yeah.
But yeah, this was his ADHD
he said
medicine.
They can have nasty side effects if abused.
He was kind of almost using that ADHD medicine as something to calm him down, wasn't he? In times of stress, he reaches for that. And
he was abusing them.
Yes. But really, that's not what they were intended for. They were intended to be a revision aid to help him focus.
Oh dear.
Well,
don't abuse your abusive use of medicine.
Mm.
The thing that I find a bit frustrating is that any medication can have nasty side effects if you use it correctly, and I think a lot of people don't think about that.
Yeah.
Even when when you get given stuff, it's to help you, but sometimes it can harm you, but they have to balance it out. Like, is it more likely to help you than it is to harm you? Then we'll give it to you. That's why sometimes you can't get the medicine that you think you need, because the chances of you getting hurt are much higher. That's why they don't go, we're going to give everybody cancer checks every year. Everyone's going to have a colonoscopy every single year, whether they need it or not, because the potential of you getting hurt is higher than the possibility of them finding something wrong with you. So not every single prescription drug is like brilliant and wonderful and solves all your problems, even if you actually have the thing that you're supposed to have to take it.
Exactly. And this is why if somebody at school is going for a colonoscopy, some little wizard, and then you try and sneak in there and pretend to be them, then it's definitely not a good idea.
No, don't steal other people's colonoscopy
Do not steal
appointments.
other people's. Yeah, £5 a look.
Okay, yeah, we won't do that. Leanne arrives at the hospital, and Nick and Toya are over there, and they're all talking about this, going, "Oh my goodness me, I can't believe it. This explains why he can't sleep. It's so unlike him. Why would he do this? He's so good at maths." And Toya's like, "Well, just because he's good at maths doesn't mean he thinks he might not fail." And Leanne's like, "No, there must be something else going on. It can't just be the maths."
I wish that they'd done just a little bit more with Toya this week. Did you feel a bit
Toya
shortchanged
felt
as
bit
a Toya
like
fan?
her personality had to take a complete back step to it. Like, she would have reacted in a different way, I think, to some of what was going on. But they just didn't have the broad, the bandwidth for everybody to be unique.
She was definitely the one of the three sisters that had the least to say.
She was just there going, I agree with everything everyone said and I have nothing to add.
I mean, Leanne had enough fire in her belly for the two of them, didn't she? But
why has nobody suggested that maybe he doesn't need to take his maths exam early?
I think they did. I think somebody
Nobody's.
did
I
say
don't think
that.
I haven't heard anybody saying it, but I'd be like, look, taking it a year early is clearly a stupid idea.
Oh, I think somebody said that this week.
Well,
I think maybe Nick suggested it. I don't know.
Well, Nick, I can't hear what he's saying when he squints.
But yeah, Leanne was the one that sort of hit with, all guns a-blazing this week, and I would have preferred it if she had been, like, if Toya had been equally fiery.
Well, okay, I just really liked. I just really loved Leanne being a bitch.
Leanne was great this week. She was
such,
so good. I mean,
so nasty to everybody again. Brilliant.
It wasn't nastiness per se. It was more just, indignance and rightfully earned.
Well, she should be nasty. You're allowed to be nasty to pedos. If you can't be nasty to a pedo, what's the point of being alive?
And throwing the clothes out of the window.
Brilliant.
It was just,
I love
it was
that.
top form Leanne, that was.
Megan trotting up with a bit of milk, a carton of milk in her hand, thinking, oh yeah, just make sure I bring some milk home to the place I live with the woman who I bullied the child of. She's not going to hold a grudge against me at all. And then Leanne throwing the clothes out the window. I'm surprised she didn't go, leave the milk.
Because so often Leanne
I need that for my tea.
So often Leanne can kind of snarl like a bulldog and just get on her high horse, and you're left saying, "Oh, calm down, Leanne, come on." Yeah. But this week it was like,
justified.
Go. It was absolute justified bile
She's
from Leanne
absolutely
this week.
Thrilled to be given the opportunity to be a bitch for good.
Yeah, and there were so many other characters. Had this storyline been about a different family, that it might not have felt in character, the way, the aggression that was needed this week. But Leanne is like, I totally buy that she would do this. In fact, she's maybe been a little bit more strained. I think natural Leanne would be.
If anyone thought, she's been worse for less. She's obviously
mellowed out and now she's in her mid-40s.
So Megan tells Will about this back on the street, and he's like, oh, it's really bad. What if he overdosed because you threatened him? We should have just come clean about everything. Megan's like, no.
Yeah, Will was a little bit worried for Sam's welfare this week,
That was the first time
he?
I think he's ever done anything sounded nice.
I don't know whether it was actual concern for Sam or whether it was concern for them.
I know.
Considering what they narrowly avoided.
But it was still the only time I've ever heard him be half decent.
Yeah, and I suppose in a week where Will is supposed to, if we're going to see him as the victim and feel some kind of sympathy for him, then this is the week to do it, isn't it? Yeah. So saying, look, he's a nice guy, really. Megan's really the evil one.
Well, she's like, look, no matter what happens, we have to keep saying this didn't happen. I'm going to go and speak to him myself. So Sam's woken up in hospital, lying in his bed, and he's just saying, oh, I'm just worried about my exams. I still want to do my GCSE. Please don't. I won't take any exams. Just don't tell anybody.
I won't take any more pills.
I won't take any more exams.
I'm going to do my GCSE but not do any exams. Coursework only.
I will take the pills but not the exam. Is that okay? So he says, please, I promise I won't do any more pills. Don't tell the school. And Nick's like, no, I'm not happy about this. So he goes off with Leanne. Are you sure there's nothing else? And he's like, no, I promise. But Megan shows up later, and Sam is asleep, and Nick's there, and she says, well, why don't you go and get some coffee or something? I'll sit with him. And as she's alone with him, Sam wakes up and she's like, you've been a silly little boy, haven't you, Sam? I won't do anything to you if you don't do anything to me, and stick to our agreement. And he says he won't say anything, but Leanne is standing outside the hospital room looking in through the window.
That was the first kind of moment of...
What's happening?
Yeah. That was the first moment of, ooh, something's going to happen this week. And we got so many of those moments as the week went on, didn't we? Like, somebody's listening in, somebody's heard something, somebody's realised something. And Leanne, she didn't hear what was going on there, but she must have seen
Sam,
yeah,
being scared.
yeah, exactly. One character that I'm surprised that we've not seen at all this week, and if you're going to see them at any point, then this week's the week, is Mrs. Crawshaw. You would have thought that maybe, would Kit have hauled her into the station to ask her about this member of staff that's currently under investigation, or,
Awful. Yeah, of course, but again, it broadens the story too far. We need to keep it focused.
I think it would have added a touch of realism to it,
Well,
even if
maybe
it had
it'll be
only
next
been
week, sweetheart.
one scene to have her boss, who is.
We're always saying this, though, aren't we? But it can't all happen at once.
I
They've
don't
only
know.
got half an hour a day.
Yeah, but how long can they keep Megan in custody for? Is it only
she's
24
out
hours?
already.
Is she out by the end of the week? I can't
Yeah,
remember.
because she sits in a car with Will.
Oh yeah, of course she does, doesn't she?
And-
Well, they've missed
and-
their chance then, haven't they?
What?
To get Orla in to give her the crucial piece of evidence.
Well, wouldn't you have a if your staff member gets suspended for this, what is your job as the head teacher of that school? Do you have a meeting with them?
Yeah, of course you would. Because I would say that probably in this situation, Mrs. Crawshaw would have backed Megan, not through, personal beliefs and intimate knowledge of her as a person who's only been working her for a few months, but I would have said, look, of course we back you, we don't think that you've done this, we're going to have to suspend you, I'm sure it'll be fine.
Why would you say that? I don't think that would be the automatic response. I think they would say, because they don't know her, maybe if she was a staff member who'd been there for ages and nothing like this ever happened before, you don't, like we said before, you don't work with people that you think could do this. If you're a teacher or anybody and you've got any suspicion at all, you have to immediately do something about it. You don't go, oh yeah, I always thought she might be dodgy.
I just think
you're abandoning your duty of care then. You have to be... You don't work with people like that. That's why they're so sneaky.
I would have just thought that Mrs. Crawshaw would have backed up her member of staff, just like they would, if a parent had complained about something or other, they had. And I know this is more serious than that.
No.
Whether she'd actually thought of it or not, I just for a touch of
listen.
realism.
No, I think that she would back her student before she'd back.
I don't know, because it's a case of the minister's complaint, and I'm sure that many schools up and down the country have got children accusing teachers of things that they have not at all done, haven't they?
But you go...
So as far as Mrs. Crawshaw's concerned, this could just be the same sort of thing.
But you wouldn't
again.
go, I'm sure you haven't done it. You'd say, this is really serious. I'm sure this is very stressful for you. You don't have to be on anyone's side.
Okay, yeah, maybe it would
you
have
don't have
been
to go,
more of that.
you poor innocent victim. We'll look after you and we'll make sure you're okay. You say... this is very serious, this must be incredibly stressful. We will gather what evidence we can this side to come to the bottom of the matter, because that assumes that they're innocent without confronting them or supporting them, because there should be no evidence, because they shouldn't have done it. And if there is evidence, and it's kind of like a subtle threat then, isn't it? Like, we'll find it. If you've done it, we're going to find it. Don't worry about it. And if you haven't, then we won't, will we? So go home and think about that.
Yeah, I just...
I'm sure there's
it felt lacking that we didn't get it, and it very much did feel like, hey, this is a school with 2 staff members this week, and now there's only one. Daniel's single-handedly running the place, isn't he?
I just genuinely think, if I was Orla, I don't know anything about how schools are supposed to be run, and we're not going to get into it because I don't really want to. It's too much, it's too much, but... And also, Coronation Street doesn't actually care, so just make it up, it's fine. I would have her phone Hull and go, what is going on here? Have you ever had this? What do you think? Do you think she's capable of this? And maybe she finds out from them, we don't really know her that well. She's only been here a year. She moves around from school to school. And then you start going, why is that? Where else has she been? Where did she come before she came to us? Hull, and then before then what? How long has she been doing it? We had a conversation today, you and I, where I was saying she's too young really to have a huge swathe of victims behind her, but goodness knows how long she'd carry on if she didn't get caught. She surely, and this is what the other thing that confuses me about her is why she's keeping the baby, why she's still pregnant, because I don't think she loves Will or wants to spend the rest of her life with him, because she keeps making these funny faces when he does something that a boy would do, because he is a boy, being hot-headed or saying something silly, or she kind of looks a bit trapped and she doesn't want to stay with him.
She definitely has lit there a bit, but I'm thinking that she's probably thinking, I think
no, hang
better
on.
the devil, let's stick with him, and I'm sure it'll be
No,
fine.
I don't think she intends to stay with him at all. She said the same thing to the other boy, didn't she?
I don't know what she said to
Well,
him.
he said that they were in love and stuff. But I'm just going to say, I remembered now. She said she thought she couldn't have children, so she's keeping this baby because she thinks it's her only chance of having a child.
Oh yeah, I forgot
But is she so? Now this is a really interesting, and it's a shame that she doesn't have a friend to talk to about this that isn't Will. Is she so desperate for a child that she would go to prison? Because if she keeps the child and it is Will's, and I think we're all thinking that it probably is Will's, if she goes to prison, she'll go to prison then, and then she won't be able to... What will happen? If you go to prison for grooming a child and you come back out, do they give you your baby back? I don't think so.
I would probably say they would.
But
you're not going to groom your own child, are you?
Michael, what a thing to say.
I don't think... No,
I think every paedophile is different. But I think that you would have to be investigated.
Yeah, of course. But I think once you've served your time and paid your debt to society...
It's not like, no, hang on, no. No, sexual offences are completely different category.
She'd go on a list, but I don't know. I don't know.
And there should be a different category.
The other thing that I was thinking this week is Megan's now in a bit of a situation where she knows that there very much could be evidence towards her misdemeanours sitting there inside her tum. Does the idea of an abortion cross her mind at all?
I think it would do. I think a lot of people are thinking she's going to go... I mean, actually today...
And say it's a miscarriage.
It doesn't matter. She's allowed an abortion.
She is, but I mean, you'd probably... I would say if you're trying to do it to get yourself out of hot water, even though it's going to look
Michael,
suspicious, whatever.
I'm sure that they can access her medical records.
Yeah, do you reckon? I don't know. I'm not sure.
I think if they're allowed to find out she's pregnant, they're allowed to find out she had a termination.
Okay, I mean, maybe she goes and disappears off and has a backstreet one, or flies to Turkey or something. I'm just trying to think of an exciting soapy way that this can carry on. But
be careful.
I'm sure that I'd be surprised if that doesn't get brought up in a script at some point over the next few weeks.
Was on the phone right before she went to go talk to Daniel and making an appointment, which I assume is a termination.
When was that?
When she was walking in Chariot Square Hotel.
Oh, I think I missed that.
Well, she did.
Oh, okay.
So I assume it's for that, but the question is she going to go through with it? And, I mean, this is a really sensitive topic, obviously. This whole thing is very sensitive. We're being very light-hearted about it, but I know this is triggering to some people, and I would hope that if it really upsets you, you have to protect yourself and...
It probably switched off already.
I know. Okay. All right, I'm just explaining. I'm just going to say something that might be upsetting to some people, and because I don't know the answer. But is it possible that they could recover material and test that? That's all I'm going to say, and I don't want to go into it because it's a bit unpleasant to discuss.
I don't know how much.
Well, we're not going to.
But even if they could, would that be again something that she would have to give consent for? Because she's obviously has to give consent to get the DNA test.
But But I don't think you actually if you don't have the right to keep your appendix. I know it's different when it's a baby, but I literally don't know who owns that, who has possession of that material.
Mm. Well, the other question around the baby, and we're kind of gone completely off topic because this is kind of comes into play on Wednesday and Thursday, doesn't it? Is it still possible that the baby is Daniel's? Because I've seen a few people.
Think it is.
So I've seen a few people suggesting, well, she's gonna eventually say, okay, we'll have the test or whatever, and then it will turn out to be Daniel's, and then does Daniel then double back on what he's his current stance and say, oh, Megan, I'm sorry, I should have believed you all along, that kind of thing. But I think the fact that she knows that it 100% could be Will's is what's stopping her doing this test at the moment.
I also another thing, if you think about her as a desperately wanting to have a child and not wanting to give up the opportunity, even though she wouldn't necessarily want to stay with Will, and she knew that it was possible that it was his child. What if she then blames Sam for basically killing her baby? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
Because she would have kept the baby if it hadn't come out between her and Will.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
The thing is, though,
Sorry, I was just making a little distracted because I just rewatched the scene where she was making that appointment. 12:30 tomorrow, aka Monday. So, it's going to be happening pretty soon, which is good, again, because they're keeping the pace of the story up brilliantly. Sorry, carry on.
No matter what happens, no matter if she had been found out then, it would have remained a possibility that she could have been found out about this, even if she said it was Daniel's. Decades later, if they DNA tested and worked out that Will was 15 when the baby was conceived, would she still be retroactively, why would you have a child that this child would always be a threat to her?
I don't think that the age 15, 16 or whatever makes that much difference at the moment. I suppose,
yes, it does.
It's illegal.
What are you talking about?
Because if he was 15, but because she's in this position of care over him, it's a big no-no if he's under 18.
I know, but would you get in trouble? What's what I'm saying? In 20 years' time, when, I don't know, Megan Jr. does her DNA test and realises Daddy Daniel is not Daddy Daniel and it's Will, that weird uncle that keeps hanging around.
Just imagine that. You thought you were part of the Barlow legacy.
It
turns out you're just a Driscoll, just a Jeffrey Driscoll for all those years. What an identity crisis that would be.
But then what would happen? Is there a would the police go, I don't care about that because it was 20 years ago?
No, I don't think so. Because, I think probably what we're going to be seeing at some point in the, I assume, near future with Trisha is that there's no running away from that, however many years pass.
Yeah.
Should we? What?
Well, I just find that this whole thing is fascinating.
It really, really is. Again, like I said, considering it was a story that we were very lukewarm when it first started.
This. I thought it's grubby and disgusting.
Yeah, and yet I have been really engaged with the Todd and Theo story. But this week, literally any time that a story that wasn't the Driscoll story, the Megan storyline came on screen, I was like, okay, out the way, I don't care, whatever, Todd, Theo, don't mind, Alia, let's get back to the Driscolls. And to be fair, there was an awful lot of this story. It was, I would say, 75% of the week was scenes from this story, wasn't it?
Good.
And that's when Corrie can sometimes be at his best, when they put other stories to one side and just focus in on one.
But this story was good because it spanned 3 groups of people. You had Alia and Adam, you had Leanne and Toya and Nick and Sam, and then you had the Driscolls.
Yeah.
And then Megan, obviously, and Daniel. Yeah, so it spans the conflict.
Very complex.
Different groups of people all having logical reasons to be mad at each other. It's my favourite thing.
Even Ken today got his 2 penneth in, didn't he?
Let's quickly also just discuss before we forget Daniel and his previous brush with inappropriate behaviour, because I had completely forgotten about this.
I had as well.
Mentioning that Daniel kept going, this happened to me. It's like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Between you pushing people down the stairs.
Well, it was somewhat linked to that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So this was when he was tutoring Summer back 5 years or so ago, and she developed a bit of a crush on him. But David thought that there was something inappropriate going on between Daniel and Summer.
Yeah, because he had a grudge against him because of Max.
Yeah, because Daniel wouldn't tutor Max, that's it. And so David accused Daniel of having it off with Summer, and then it turned out that it was unfounded. So
he was taken in and questioned.
Yeah, and I quite like how they have brought that back into it this week, because it did give Daniel a good reason to be wary of these complaints that were made against Megan, because he's been on the receiving end of unfounded accusations of a similar nature in the past.
Same as the teachers though at school. You wouldn't be with someone who anyone who's with as a partner, and someone says, oh, they might be a pedo, and they're like, yeah, possibly. Why you wouldn't be with them, would you?
No.
Of course you're going to defend them, because it goes without saying that you believe they are a good person.
But The fact that he did defend her initially made it all the more
Yeah, it was great.
sweet when the scales fell from his eyes in today's episode.
It happened faster than I thought.
Same.
I'm surprised.
No, but I didn't mind because it kept up with the fast pace of storytelling this week. I was like on the edge of my seat.
They could have dragged it out another week.
They really could. But I'm assuming that the Todd's and Theo story is going to take more of a centre stage next week. And already I'm like going, oh, no, I hope not too much. But I don't know, we have to wait and see. We're only on Monday, so
I just want to say one more thing quickly about Megan. If she goes and has a termination on Monday, she will probably lie and say it's a miscarriage and get caught out, or she's going to tell Daniel. Would she tell Daniel that? I don't know. What would you think she would blame?
I think would be a real risk for her to say, "Oh, I've had a miscarriage," because she'd know how guilty that makes her look. Is there a possibility that she says, "Well, yeah, I have had a termination because I knew it was Daniel's baby, and now I know the sort of person that Daniel is, and we've split up."
Yeah, like, I can't trust him to be the father of my child if he doesn't believe me.
Yeah, and she could... If I was Megan, again, I'd be saying, look, I know how guilty this makes me look, but I'm doing this because the father of this child, Daniel, has clearly disowned him, and it's him. And that might even give Daniel kind of pause for thought and go, God, have I really been responsible for the termination of my child?
Adam killed my child, just like Ken did.
I do wonder... Like, at some point, somebody who is on the anti-Megan brigade... Somebody who's on the anti-Megan brigade has got to have a bit of a crisis of faith and go, actually, Megan, she doesn't need it.
For story purposes, she either goes away now
and
comes back to be killed in the end of April, or she has some kind of... There's literally... The story requires for her to stay in the show to have some reason, which would need to be somebody going, look, I'm really sorry this is happening to you. I don't think you did it.
I mean, I suppose she's got Adam on her side somewhat at the moment, but that's only professionally on her side.
He's not stay in his flat, is he?
No. I don't know where she's staying at the moment, actually. But, I've forgotten what I was going to say.
Who supports you?
No, what I was really worried about this week, and I'm really glad didn't happen, is I was thinking somebody on the Driscolls is going to believe Megan and say, no, this is a load of tut, I don't believe this whatsoever. But luckily, not a single one of them did. They all jumped on the anti-Megan bandwagon. However, was it unrealistic? I don't know, because... She's not wrong. There isn't very much evidence, is there?
Evidence.
There's just the word of this little Sam, and I know he wears glasses and everything, but it doesn't mean he's the fount of all knowledge of Weatherfield.
It could be an old prescription.
Wasn't he weird in hospital without glasses this week?
He wasn't weird. He just looked
different. Didn't he look like why? Do they stick contact lenses in you when you get to hospital or something?
If they took my glasses off of me, I would not be able to see, so I wouldn't appreciate it.
Maybe they should have done that. They should have had him there sort of talking with Leanne and thinking it was Megan or vice versa.
So, Sam, where's your glasses? I don't need glasses, they're just aesthetic.
They give me the cool boffin look. The geek chic look that I'm going for.
Are we done?
Yes, we're done.
On Tuesday... Leanne's still fretting over Sam, and she's really grumpy at Megan, and who says to her, "I'm really sorry. I should have seen the signs of him using ADHD in Sam." And Leanne's like, "Yes, you should," and then clops off.
That was the first time that we'd seen her since the suspicion started dripping into Megan, into Leanne's brain, weren't they? Like,
but Leanne is such a bit like, honestly, what an unreasonable thing to say. You're his mum. Why would I notice? And you didn't. In the cafe, Megan and Daniel are chatting, and Daniel wishes that he could have seen the signs of this, and they feel bad for him. And Will comes in, and Daniel goes, and Will says, I'm worried that Sam's going to dob on us. And she says, don't worry about it. He won't say a word. In the hospital, Nick is still giving Sam a hard time about this medication, and Sam's like, oh, I'm really stressed, I won't do it again. And Nick's like, look, tell me anything. If anything else is bothering you, just say. And Sam's like, no. And he gets left alone then with Leanne, who says, look, Sam, if you got something to say, just be honest. And he looks like he might be about to say something, but Bethany walks in and ruins it.
Yeah, Bethany, like,
it's got involved a little bit earlier.
Tiny bit involved, but for no particular reason.
I don't really know why. Yeah.
Even Nick, I'm going to say, has been on the fringes of this more, isn't it? And for the better. I think if we're going to have anybody ganging up to take down Megan, then the Battersby sisters and Leanne,
I just love this.
They're the trio that we want to see, not Nick.
This is what we wanted when Eva came back. The Battersby trio back together again.
Yeah. Yeah, Nick being there, it'd just be I don't know. It'd just be a bit dull, wouldn't it? He doesn't have the same fire in his belly.
He doesn't get mad about anything, really, does he? Not really. He's just always annoyed about something.
Yeah, you go back to
all of his emotional energy is like
go back to counting your tips
channeled into the fact that they've got to order red onions soon, and he doesn't know how many they need.
Yeah. It's a shame because he's
low-level aggravation.
He's like the legacy character, isn't he? He's the one that's been in the show for, 45 years now. But he's just been sidelined here because...
Well, you said he should be.
Yeah, I don't think that he would bring the dramatic...
He's had other stories.
He has.
He got stuck in quicksand. Leave him alone. Later at the hospital, Bethany gets away from Sam's Rubik's Cube lessons, and they're left. Leanne and Sam are left alone again.
I can't believe he called it a Rubik's Cube, Gemma, when the script for Coronation Street made it very clear that it could have been any cube, and other fun cube rearrangement puzzles are available. Yeah,
it did make me think that they had some kind of trademark issues. Like, Rubik's Cube has got, like, if you say Rubik's Cube on television, you have to pay them £100.
Well, I tried to write Rubik's Cube in my note here with a small R, and it flipping well capitalised it. So
they've got
the
big money
Rubik's
in
Cube
this.
people are clearly
they've
spying
invested
on me.
everywhere.
Yeah, don't call it that. Nick is like that cube thing. He's obsessed with it. Some kids really, really get mega into Rubik's Cubes, and I think that, I'm sorry, Jude Jordan, you're great and everything, but if you'd really wanted to show off and show them how much you'd gone into character, you should have learned how to solve it in like 10 seconds. Wouldn't that have been brilliant?
They go, anyone can learn how to do it, and you can solve them in like a minute or something. It's like, if it's going to take me a year to learn this,
I don't know how long it takes. But
it would take me a year.
I've seen kids at my school get obsessed with Rubik's Cubes and just be able to solve them
be bothered.
like a minute. It's incredible. I like watching. Well, occasionally I'll watch these clips that appear online of somebody like doing it with blindfold,
doing
or
it in 10
doing it
seconds.
with their one hand behind their back. Or...
So,
So,
do you know what I'm going to say as well?
Jude. Are you letting the side down here?
Maybe this is controversial, but I actually like it when it's not all in order. I think it's chaotic and beautiful.
Like Becky Swain.
And represents life as it should be. Not ordered and put into categories. I don't believe in putting colours in boxes.
Was this a metaphor for the lives of the Weatherfield residents?
It's a metaphor for me being lazy and justifying it afterwards. So, Leanne's alone now, finally, with Sam, and says, what has happened? Has Megan done something to scare you? And he says... it's Megan and Will. And Eva walks in and she's like, what about Megan and Will?
Classic.
And this was just great. So she sits down and Sam says they're having a relationship and there's another boy as well. She did it to before. And this was great because Eva's like, no, you got the wrong end of the stick, darling. You don't, of course that's not happening. You're confused. You're getting it wrong. And Sam's like, no, I know that Megan is abusing Will. And Leanne's like, of course Sam wouldn't lie. He knows what's going on.
I loved Leanne's fierce loyalty to Sam here because she's got no more evidence than Eva. But if Sam's saying this, then yeah, good on you, Leanne, for believing him.
It's good because she happens to be right. But, there are plenty of people who back kids that aren't right about everything, is all I'll say. She's that kind of parent.
She is.
So
how many times has she strode down that school over her years?
Mrs. Crawshaw probably sees her coming and hides.
Yeah, she's probably got a picture up on there.
Probably. Banned.
On the reception, do not allow this parent into the school.
So I loved Eva's response as well, which feels like very genuine. Like, most people would be like, no.
Well, yeah. Megan's been a family friend for
why do you think
months,
that?
years
That doesn't
now.
make any sense. That's not true.
Which, again, makes Eva's later flip-flop in the same episode all the better.
All the more delicious.
Yeah.
So, he explains what happened and said that Meghan threatened him. And Leanne's like, yeah. And Eva says, well, you've got, where's proof then? And Sam's like, oh, what can I do? Everyone thinks Meghan's really nice. And Eva's like, well, this is ridiculous, I'm sorry. And she huffs off. And Leanne says to Sam, I believe you, kid. So Meghan gets confronted by Leanne, Eva and Toya, who've all kind of gathered together and summoned her to the back room of the Rovers. And as soon as she walks in through the door, she can see that she's in serious trouble. And so she immediately concocts her little excuse. And she's like, the one that she and Will had cooked up already, that he fancied her and she had to tell him that they couldn't have there's nothing more to this.
Yeah, that fits.
You're a kid.
That fits perfect.
Yeah, it makes complete sense. She said, look, I know that Will had a crush on me. I should have said something. He tried to kiss me and I pushed him away. And I'm sorry that I didn't say anything at the time. I should have done. And Leanne says, well, all right, that's all very well. But why did you threaten Sam? And she doesn't say she didn't. She says, I was scared because my whole career was at risk. And maybe I was a bit harsh on him. But, I can't have him going around saying things that aren't true. And Leanne's like, I absolutely do not believe a word you're saying. And Eva's there going, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
even through this, I was like, she seems completely taken in.
She looked very sympathetic.
It was good because Eva looked sympathetic. Leanne was like, no, I'm not having any of this. And I think Toya was there, kind of in the middle, straddling them both, just weighing up both sides and thinking which is the more logical, which has got the best argued case here.
Well, she's probably trying to read her body language and stuff, being a counsellor and everything. So she's just there being inscrutable. And then Meghan leaves crying, like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't believe this is happening. And Leanne says something like, you didn't believe a word of that, did you? Surely. Like, what we were thinking, like, come on, Eva, don't believe her. And he was like...
It was set up so much to have Eva believing Meghan and just then stringing it out for longer.
It writes itself, doesn't it? The three sisters torn apart. Leanne believes, Eva doesn't, Toya's stuck in between. But instead of having to watch all that, which admittedly would be good drama, we just went straight to Eva going, no flaming way. Which was brilliant.
What a line, that was brilliant.
So Meghan and Will in Random Road together in the car having their secret meeting in public. And she's like, right, for now, they all believe me, this story worked, but I need to get away. And Will's like, I'll come with you. I'm not sure whether that's what Meghan wants, to be honest with you.
I still think it is. I still think she would go for it.
Why? It just causes more trouble. I don't think she loves them. I don't think she loves any of them.
I think that she thinks that it could happen. She knows in the back of her head what she's doing is wrong.
She's not stupid. If she runs away with him, she's proving everybody right.
I think she is a bit stupid, though, for getting involved in this to begin with.
Yeah.
I think that she's... I think that she's been taken in. I think that she...
Taken in by what?
No, I think that she believes her own feelings that she does love him, and even though he does really do things, stupid things sometimes, I think that she's kidding herself to believe that if they were able to do a flit somewhere, go off and start a new life, that it would work and they'd have the baby and it'd all be okay.
It is really hard to get in the head of somebody like this.
I was going to say that. Like, who knows what they're really thinking?
Like, to not to be too controversial here, but I totally get why people murder people, because there's loads of people I would murder if it was legal. Only joking, but I don't. This kind of stuff. Yeah, exactly. I'd hire it out. This kind of stuff makes no sense to me at all, and I can't understand it. But we spoke before, and probably this is controversial as well. But we spoke before about the Macrons. The president of France. That was an inappropriate relationship, and they are still together.
Yeah. The other thing you've got to remember.
So what do you? There must be different types of people who do this kind of... I'm not saying that that's right. I'm just saying, like, she would have... If Meghan was a Mrs. Macron, she would stick with Will. But if she's not that kind of person and she's a serial abuser, she's going to be off. And I think she's that person and you think she's the other kind.
You've also got to remember... Yeah, of course. But I think she knows now, especially knowing what sort of volatile person Will is, that if she were to say, look, this is too risky, it's not worth it, let's split up, he probably would do something stupid and report her.
Yeah.
So has he got her over a barrel? He doesn't maybe realise that.
He has no idea the power he has at the moment.
No. But I still do think that she thinks, well, I think that this could work, and the risk would be worse if I did try and end it with him or run away without him.
Yeah.
I think.
It's really sad. He's got no idea what's happened to him yet. It's just like Todd. Both of them been abused without knowing what's happened, and once they realise, it's like it's going to happen again. It's like the
difference is Todd does seem to have had many times where he feel that he's realised what's going
that's
on,
what I don't
and he
like
still
about the
walks
story.
blundering back into the relationship again. But Will hasn't had that.
It doesn't feel. It feels the way that it's being played. It's very confusing as to whether Todd has understood what's happened to him or not. And sometimes I think, oh, good, he's finally twigged it. And sometimes I'm thinking he still doesn't know, because he really wants to get Theo back. And I didn't know that until this week, I think. I can't remember when.
We'll get to that story later.
Yeah, it's not that now. So Will's like, let's go together. So the three sisters say they're going to go to the station. Oh, this was so funny. Leanne's we need proof first, which, of course, Eva's like, no, you're not going to use Will as bait to get more proof. We can't go now, though, because it's St. Patrick's Day.
And the end of the episode. So those two things combined together, that means that scene has got to happen in tomorrow's episode.
If only we hadn't spent all that time on that damn cube.
If only this programme that we're in was an hour long for an episode, maybe we'd be able to put it in, but alas, not now. Yeah, Maggie and Ben are... No, Ben's out on the tiles, isn't he? But in real life, we saw pictures of Aaron McCusker and Pauline McLynn together at a bar on St. Patrick's night.
Yeah, St. Patrick's night.
Yes.
No, I mean, it kind of makes sense that they're saying, oh, Ben's too drunk, he's out, you can't do anything about it now, but... It was it sounds like a hilarious excuse. It's not Christmas, is it? It's not Easter. It's not like nothing's open.
Well, you said last week that you wanted them to commemorate St. Patrick's Day in some way, and
I know,
they had a couple of shamrocks up on the walls of the Rovers.
Let's commemorate St. Patrick's Day by not going to the police about a paedophile. It's what he would have wanted.
I think it's one of these acceptable soap things that people wait until the next morning to tell somebody something that you never would. And nobody's ever really that mad.
No.
So it's, we've been up for 3 hours now. I got home last night. Why are you only telling me this now? But yeah,
imagine dialing 999 and like, hello police, it's St. Patrick's Day. This better be important. Maybe in Boston.
Yeah.
On Wednesday, Ben comes downstairs looking a bit rough because it is St. Patrick's Boxing Day. And she's looking at a family photo that includes Megan. I think it's for the one at Christmas.
Yes.
So she sits down to him. She's like, I really don't know how to tell you this, but Megan's been grooming Will and they've been sleeping together.
Oh.
So... Meanwhile, Sam's been released from hospital, thinks he's going to school that day, and Nick's like, no,
This
nobody.
week's just been a week of people not going to school for various reasons. Monday it's inset.
People saying they
now
want
he's
to go
out of
to
hospital.
school.
Daniel's saying, no way am I going into school. My girlfriend's been hauled in. It's like, she might as well just close the school down.
All the Crawshaws at school going, nobody's coming into school anymore. What's going on?
The only characters that we know of who go to the school were not there this week.
Well, Hope went in.
She did, didn't she?
She probably's gone in to tell everybody what's going on. I bet she's having the time of her
I bet
life.
she is. She's loving the goss.
So, Sam sees Megan getting into the car and gets really worried about it. And he's like, I'm not going to let her win. I'm going to take my maths GCSE. So I don't think Megan gives a crap about you.
I love Sam so much. The nerves on his face. He's such a vulnerable kid. I know. Oh, God, I love him.
So
I really love him.
They all just say, no, kid, you're not going to school. You've got to... They might have to speak to the police and things.
Sam should have been like, oh, no school. That means I get extra time to do my maths revision.
Like, I don't have to waste my time on history
I don't have to do literacy today.
No. So Nick says to Sam that Megan can't hurt him. She's going to get what's coming to her. Do you think that Megan will go for him? Like, physically attack him?
What, Sam?
Yeah. Do you think that's where this is going to escalate to?
I don't know. Again, it's difficult to get inside the mind of somebody like this, let alone the fact that they're a soap character. So, anything's on the table. I think that she thinks that her threats are enough at this stage. But yeah, will she be pushed?
Once she knows he's gone, but, she knows this week. They've all gone to the police about her. So would she? I've got nothing to lose now. You've ruined my life. I've lost my career. I've lost the baby I thought I could never have. I've lost my boyfriend, both of them, and now I'm going to punish you. I'm going to get you. I'm going to break your chest piece. I'm going to stick a chest piece up your nose.
I mean, the fact that Sam was considering going to school where Megan would be, and there'd be a chance that they would come face to face down that corridor of lockers would be enough to maybe make me want to stay at home as well. And definitely would want me to keep my child at home.
I wouldn't send him to school. No way.
Not until she's arrested.
Yeah. And I'm assuming she's suspended now.
Yeah, she is. She said she's suspended now.
So Ben cannot believe this, as Eva is telling him. And she says that Sam found this out. Sam's noticed this. And he's like, I don't... he's like angry, upset. He's really struggling. And Aaron McCusker was great this week. They're all so good.
I'm glad you get to say it as well, because it always seems to be me. But I was like,
he's so good.
It's like, what reaction do I want to see from Ben?
He's so
and you
good.
think he's just gonna spring to anger straight away, but what they actually went for, which was like, oh, he's my boy, and then the anger kind of comes just that little bit later in the
when
scene.
He said he's just
that's
a little
actually
boy.
exactly right, because he's protective over his little son.
I know. So
I thought it was just played perfectly.
Maggie walks in. Oh, what are you talking about? Oh, here we go. Now we've got to tell somebody else. Will is in the precinct on the swings with a bag of sweets in his hand. He's cosplaying as Bethany's dad.
Huh?
What's his name?
Neil Ferns.
Well, when Gail and Martin went to the school because of him getting Sarah Louise pregnant when she was 15.
12, 13.
Whatever,
yeah.
12. They went down the school, didn't they? And then they saw him in the playground with a football.
He's just a boy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was that moment of like, this kid is just a kid, you know.
Yeah, and Will is,
child.
3 years his senior, but you're right, having him sitting on the swings with a bag of sweets did
calculated.
underline the fact that, he is just Ben's boy, like he said. I'm
just a boy in the world. So he sits down, he goes, okay, Will, you're not in trouble. And I remember, it's such a scary thing to hear when you're a kid. You're like, what have I done? He said, look, we love you, you're not to blame, but I've got to ask you something and you have to tell the truth. And Will's like, oh no, I'm not having it, I'm off. And so Ben says, no, I need to ask you about Megan, if she's ever been inappropriate with you. Has she ever touched you in a way that crossed the line? And he's like, no. If anyone's crossed the line, it was me. I said I liked her and she rebuffed me. So it's my fault. And I won't do it again. And Ben's like, okay, I believe you. And Will walks off, quite happy with himself. But Ben's like, I don't believe him.
Yeah. This was a moment where I thought, could Ben be convinced? Especially because it's the happier thing to believe, isn't it? You kind of don't want to believe that this is happening.
Like, oh, thank God it's
to
all a
your
misunderstanding.
Son. But yeah, just like Eva, the episode before, he was like, oh, there's this thing that doesn't sound right here. But I'm glad that he told Will that he believed him, not just, for storyline purposes, but that's probably what you should do as a dad.
I think though, and clearly I don't know anything about this at all. But the way they're phrasing their questions is being very ambiguous, and they're asking him like, have you been abused? Has Megan inappropriately done something? Has she touched you? Has she done something she shouldn't have done? Right? He doesn't view any of it that way. He thinks they're boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yeah, he doesn't get it, does he?
Of course she's not touched me inappropriately. I thought it was very appropriate, actually.
Yeah.
Like they should be saying to him, is she your girlfriend? Do you like her? Have you... If
you want to try and trap him or trick him, I suppose, into admitting that's the way to do it.
I know, they must, obviously there's a science to this that they've worked out, because the last thing you want to do when you're asking them is to traumatise them by the questions that you're asking. And you want to be quite clear about the fact that this is abuse, but I don't know, how would you go about it? Because you want to know the truth. Is it more important to find out the truth, or is it more important to not know? Like, is the outcome that you don't find out, but you don't upset him? Is that also a good result for you? I don't know.
Well, Ben looked distinctly unsatisfied by the end of it, but it's making me wonder, like, when and how is Tim going to be involved with this? And would it feel like a cop-out if Tim was able to coax the truth out of Will at some point? Like, Ben went down the route of, has Megan touched you inappropriately? Tim could go down the route of,
maybe he's the only one that can actually
having been
through to him.
In a similar, but I'm still going to say not exactly the same situation.
No, we said that before.
Yeah, because Tim kind of flirted with being involved in this storyline at the end of was it Wednesday or Thursday's episode? I can't remember, when we had when he and Sally walked past them in the street at night when Niamh was throwing all her stuff out, and it's like, oh yeah, Tim's going to be involved in this storyline now, we're going to bring back the Trisha side of thing, and he didn't. But I think that was literally just there was a reminder that this storyline is that he had for 2 weeks last year was related.
What?
And I don't. It'd be so twee and naff if at the end of all of this he just goes, oh yeah, you know what, I was abused, because it's similar but it's not the same, and it's very much just like I've learned my lesson kind of ending. No, let's have him in the story somehow, let's give him some sort of agency if we're going to include him in this, and maybe getting Will to realise what's happened to him when nobody else can is the way to go.
I think it would be perfect. The perfect way of making this story not feel like a morality lesson, which is what I always thinking that Tim's is going to be.
Yeah. And
having somebody be forced to recontextualise something that maybe they would never have a problem with. I know that it is abuse no matter what, but it's down to each individual person how they deal with it, and being forced to have a certain opinion about something is not really the way to go, is it?
No.
So I think it would be the perfect way to resolve this, to have Tim and Will both realise what's happened to them together. Yeah. I just can't see a really not realistic, but like satisfying, not satisfying, but how do you get those two characters together in a way that feels real?
I mean, the other option, I suppose, is that if this story goes on pause, because it will, between now and the 23rd of April, this story will have some time off, won't it? During that time, does Tim's story come to the forefront? Does Trisha get accused, found, arrested, blah, 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 make the papers, and then Will reads that and then realises for himself then? I don't know.
No, I really would like them to have a conversation together, and Tim to go, look...
Tim would be brilliant at it. Joe Datine would do a really good job at that kind of thing.
Just to have him sit down and go, look lad, I was in your shoes and I thought it was a bit of fun, but I've looked back on it now and I realised that it wasn't actually... She took advantage of me and I wasn't ready, and it's taken me this long, so I don't blame you for not seeing it's taken me for over 40 years, to work out myself. But I'm telling you, somebody else who's been in the same situation as you, that this isn't right.
They could do that, and I think that they just have to get the script absolutely right, because Will at the moment is like, why on earth should I listen to anything that Tim says to me? I don't even know him.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. How do they get those two characters together? It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Really, apart from the foster parent thing, but I cannot see the Driscolls had a fight with Megan, and so Will and Susie have to be relocated to other places. The only place we can find at short notice is the place over the road from the pub. That kind of convolutedness.
They could very convolutedly as well engineer a situation where Will and Tim are trapped together,
stuck in a lift,
stuck down the Rover's cellar, that sort of thing. Maybe I don't know, but surely at some point in the next 5 weeks, the Trisha and Tim storyline is going to rear its head again. It'd be mad not.
It's not a coincidence that they introduced this story at the same time.
No.
So
and yeah, you're right. Maybe rather than being a vehicle for Tim realising he was abused, it's more one for Will too.
I think it would make sense if they worked it out together.
Yeah, rather than Tim being on its own, which
Because
would feel a little
I just
bit twee.
don't like. Yeah, I just don't like the idea of it happening without it being triggered by what kind of Ben was saying. I'm looking at this boy. He's not a man. I thought I was a man when I was with Trisha, but I wasn't. I was a boy like Will. And now I look back on it. She did take advantage of me, and she should have known better.
Yeah, I still just don't know how and why Tim's mind would be changed about what happened to him.
Because of what I just said. I wasn't a man. I was a boy.
But Tim's got a fairly closed mindset about what happened to him. He's seen it as a triumph, an achievement, a little trophy, and his own personal.
Do you not think that looking at looking at a picture of yourself when you were that age and going, bloody hell, what was she doing?
Maybe.
Anyway, so
it's also be weird to have this Tim storyline without Elaine being back in it as well, and I don't think we are going to see her. But
it's really weird that they introduced the possibility that she had other victims as well.
Yeah, because they had a Facebook page or something, didn't
Somebody
they?
going, how could you, after what you did?
Yeah.
So maybe that will help Tim go, oh, it wasn't just a bit of fun. Oh, it wasn't just me being a lucky lad. It was her.
I think if we
being
see
a serial abuser.
I think if Tim realises that Trisha has had a string of victims, then he'll realise that he was one of them. That might help, because really he does not think that he was a victim in any way at the moment.
Maybe
and she wasn't in a position of trust over him.
Sally that says something about it, because she's like, no, it's almost weird, like a weird, like, you forgot to take the bins out, kind of like a I'm right and you're wrong, triumphant. When she brings it up, she's like, no, you were abused. I'm right, you're wrong.
Yeah.
It's really strange.
Yeah.
Right, anyway, at the pub, Lauren and Ollie have this conversation about what's going on with Will, and she's like, you know what, it is strange that I saw them together, like, really close, and I thought I got the wrong end of the stick, because I knew that she was going out with Daniel, so that was weird, but Ollie won't break and tell her anything.
I thought that, like, they might have gone further into that and Lauren get herself in trouble, but it really did, to me, feel a bit of, well, we kind of need to mention it.
What do you mean?
The fact that, in a way, she's known all along. And I suppose she could speak to the police and say that.
Yeah,
but there's no firm evidence there.
Like, everyone in their life has at one point seen something they thought was a bit weird but didn't say anything about it. Because if we all went round snitching on each other, it'd be like...
We'd have so many stitches.
We'd all be snitches, and snitches get stitches, and then the NHS would be overwhelmed. So we can't have it, can we? So Megan is panicking at school, and she's like, right, we're going to have to pack our bags and get the hell out of here. So she's so silly. I don't believe she loves him. Ben and Kit are at the police station. Oh no, he's sort of reporting the crime, and they're all sitting around in the reception waiting for this crime to be committed. And Kit's there going, "Oh, okay, this sounds like a story I could be involved in, I suppose." Leanne brings up the phone call.
Yeah, the phone call, the other, the one.
The sexy phone call where she thought Megan was cheating on Daniel. Which
This was what was great about Wednesdays. It was people realising things in the past and going, and connecting the dots. That the light bulbs coming on was very satisfying. And
also, I think the thing about Leanne is she's a really great character to be the proper voice of the completely, like, the Daily Mail comments writer of this storyline. Because she's not got the emotional investment in having had her son be a victim in the way that Will has, but she's had him be bullied by this woman. So she's morally indignant and also aggrieved. Well, but she hasn't got the kind of, like, it's not devastatingly it's not like a emotionally devastating, is it? It's not like you would just be sick, you'd feel sick. Whereas Leanne's kind of more free to just be like, I'm going to destroy this bitch.
Well, Leanne has had similar experience when Simon was being county-lined, wasn't he, by Harvey? So she's been there in some way.
Yeah, but drugs are more fun than this, aren't they? Everybody loves drugs.
I forgot what I was going to say then. Did Kit say to someone or other today that phones and stuff have been confiscated?
Yeah.
Because surely
They haven't
Although there
been
isn't the
discreet.
evidence necessarily because of their coach and coachee relationship. Yes, of course, there's going to be phone calls there. It's just were they discreet about the text messages? Because if there's any suggested text messages there, then that's game up.
Yeah,
So
hopefully.
it's how clever was Megan in saying we cannot text each other anything about this.
But the thing is about Will is that he's a kid, and so she often will tell him stuff, and he just doesn't do it.
Yeah, I could imagine somebody like Will sending something that he's like, oh, I'm going to send a coded message, but it's really terrible.
Really obvious.
I'm going to send her an aubergine emoji. Nobody will guess what that means, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think if this all fell down because of some text messages between them, I don't think that would be particularly narratively satisfying.
They're not going to find
What was
anything.
good this week was they were putting together storyline clues that had been, all built up over the past couple of months. So it needs to be something more along those lines.
Kit says, right, we're going to set up some interviews. We're going to need to talk to Sam. We're going to talk to everybody, get to the bottom of this. Will is in the back room. He is packing to leave. And then Maggie comes in and she's like, honestly, I was expecting somebody to have the same attitude to this as Tim did. And if anyone was going to do that, I would have thought it would be Maggie going, oh, he's 15. He was 15 when they met each other. Lads his age always get their end away with girls, you know? But she was totally...
I'm really glad they didn't. But you're right, Megan... I mean,
there would have been
they're not,
somebody who...
They're already kind of not wanting us to sympathise with Maggie particularly anyway, so why not make her say it's fine? But
there are still people,
would not have felt right in any way.
There are still people that need this explained to them, and that's okay, because not everybody has had the same life experiences or thought about things in the same way as everybody else. But it's the same as other storylines where you'd think somebody would go, oh, I don't really care about that.
Will doesn't even have any other friends that could think, oh yeah, go Will, because he's like, he had like a scene with Liam once or twice, but there's no one else that we know of at school that Will is mates with that could say,
Is there any peers or anything?
Miss Walsh. No.
There would be, I'm sorry, I know that it's not the right reaction, but there would be people saying it. It depends on what Corrie wants.
Yeah.
Do want to be completely realistic, because I think they do shy away from showing people with objectionable views unless they're the baddies.
Mm.
But if life was as simple as everybody agreeing and nobody having problematic views, then we wouldn't even have soaps, would we? No. Everyone would be like little robots. So he's trying to pack when Maggie comes in and says, not your fault, she took advantage of you, and it's in the hands of the police now. And he says she's innocent and rushes off. Then at school, Daniel is trying to persuade Megan to come round his place later because he's got no idea this is going on. And he's completely blindsided when Kit walks down the corridor and arrests her for, I can't remember the wording of the crime, but it's clear that she's
inappropriate noncery.
Yeah. When is it appropriate? And Daniel's like, no, hang on a minute, this is ridiculous. Will's got a crush on her. Why are you gullible? Why are you believing these stupid stories? This isn't true. And Kit leads her away and she's like, oh, I'm such an angel. I would never do anything. Back at the pub, Lauren and Sean do a bit of gossiping and Lauren wants to know more from Ollie, but he's keeping his mouth shut. Also, I thought that was interesting too.
Which bit?
The fact that Ollie doesn't want to say anything to Lauren.
Yeah. Are they in a relationship?
Yeah. They are.
Okay.
Like, is this Maggie...
Closing ranks.
Yeah, like, your family comes first. Your family comes... But is it rubbed off on him so much that he won't even confide in his girlfriend, even though I know she's only been...
I can't think any particular consequence storyline-wise if Lauren does, know what's going on.
No, I know. That's why I'm interested to know what is he that loyal to his brother that he wouldn't share their business, which is very admirable. That is a nice... It's not gossiping to tell your girlfriend, but maybe it is out of respect for Will. I don't know.
I mean, she was groomed herself, wasn't she, by Joel So they would have that in common.
She'd be like,
somewhat.
oh, no way. Oh, so this is like a Soap Mag cover story that you guys are in. Do you think you're going to get on the cover too? Because
Well, so now you go to, we are on the cover this week, actually, Lauren. Sorry,
well, I was the main one in my story, and you're really just the sort of peripheral one in your one, aren't you?
Tell you what, we're going to have a story where Will disappears for 3 months and everyone thinks he's been murdered.
By Megan.
Yeah, I wouldn't be completely adverse to that.
So the Battersbys and Nick are telling Sam that she's been arrested and he's going to have to be brave and maybe he's going to have to speak up in court. And he's like, what the hell? Well, I don't want that to happen, but I can't risk her getting away, so I'm going to have to be a goodie, aren't I?
You know what? I can see this coming to court and Sam doing a runner.
Really?
Well, yeah, he's had problems with nerves and... You know, at that time he went mute after Natasha died and he was hiding under desks. He's got real... Yeah.
I think...
When there's a big responsibility, he can crumble.
I don't think this is going to court.
You're not?
No. I do not think this is going to court. Number one, there's no evidence.
That's apart from the baby. But there must be something. Okay, if you think about it logically... Surely there'd be some sort of CCTV or something somewhere, like anything.
Number two, she is going to die in April. I think that's my prediction. Something's going to happen to her. So Kit goes to talk to the Driscolls and says, right, we're taking Megan into custody overnight. We're going to question her tomorrow. And Will comes in, finds out what happens, and then I found this a very unconvincing series of arguments.
You didn't enjoy this particularly, did you?
So the Kit goes off and leaves the Driscolls in complete discord because they all start fighting with each other over who's to blame.
Yeah, Ben was saying to Ollie, "Oh, did you know about this? You seem like you don't."
You did know about this. You don't look surprised. It's like, yeah, but he doesn't really make many expressions at all, to be honest. You knew it's your fault. He was trying to impress you.
I didn't buy that particularly, but I thought that the sniping between Maggie and Eva was very much in character, all about who knew who was.
No, it wasn't.
What was it? Eva was saying to Maggie, "Well, you paid for Megan to stay here," and Maggie was saying to Eva, "Oh, well, you've been singing her praises all this time." So
no, I didn't
any
find
excuse
that
for them to be at each other.
They had plenty of reasons to fight with each other, but I think the actual topic of the arguments were really reaching for things when there were so many other things that made more sense.
Well,
the fact that they started arguing about money, like, oh, you paid for Megan, it's like, oh, really?
But it wasn't about the money. It was just about
So why pick the money?
Who's to blame for Megan to be a part of?
So why not
Will's
make
life?
it about that? Actually,
yeah.
I just thought it was a very unconvincing series of topics. Because it just because they weren't fighting about things I thought that they would fight about.
Yeah.
It was obvious to me that the scene was just there to sort of demonstrate the disharmony and the stress and tension that Will's relationship or Will's grooming had brought to the family. Like this poem is now in chaos because of what Megan's done to Will. And then Will goes outside and cries about it because he's so overwhelmed. But I think they could have picked topics that they would have been more likely to argue about.
Yeah.
It just felt so manufactured to me.
It did a little bit, but it did get me thinking about, is Will starting to realise he's had all these people all day now and yesterday, whenever it came out, saying to him, "You've been groomed." Were the tears at the end, like the realisation, or just trying to push back those little niggling thoughts that must have been attacking him at some point? This little voice on his shoulder must have been saying, "You are being groomed," because he's not thick, is he? And he's heard stories about this before. And so he must have thought it. And now people are saying it to him. He must be thinking, you know what, am I? No, I'm not. And I can't. But yeah, so I don't know. Was he crying because of the disharmony that's been caused? Or, did he realise what's going on with him?
I wonder if you asked him, do you think that anyone is groomed? Or do you think it's all just people being silly? Like, is grooming real? Or is it not? Like, is it just...
What would count as grooming to you? Is there an age limit for it here? Is there level of inappropriateness?
Yeah, like where's the line for you then? If you think what's happened to you is okay,
Yeah, because he gets interviewed by Kit on Friday, doesn't he? And he's very much toes the line and is like, no, I've not been groomed. There's nothing. I had a crush on her. That's all. But I think with his dad being there, particularly, he's not gonna and being questioned in quite a brusque way by the police. I think if somebody were to maybe try and get down on his level, if he had a mate or somebody. And if he felt like there was no ulterior motive, I don't know. Then maybe he would.
That's why Tim might work. What do you think grooming is? What do you think it is, Will? Do you know what it really is?
Yeah.
And do you understand that it doesn't matter whether you think you love her and vice versa? It literally makes no difference. The crime still exists.
See, I reckon now that Ken's thrown his hat into the ring by appearing in one scene today, he could have a talk with Will, because he had that girl fancy him, didn't he? Do you remember that? How old was she? Was she 16, 17 when he was a young teacher that was fancying him and coming around his house?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there were no accusations of anything there. I don't think. I can't remember.
Well, back in the day, they would have been like...
Val was probably just saying, she fancies you. Oh, what a laugh.
All the teachers at school were probably like, whoa, you should marry her. Good young genes.
But yeah, the fact that Ken has had some experience of something not in the completely different ballpark means that he could weigh in there now.
He's like, young women are always after me. Rita gives me the wink every now and then, but I say, no, it's an appropriate relationship. Right, so Maggie on Thursday is just like, everyone else's fault. The family... You guys were too worried about the pub. You weren't focusing on your family, and it's all a bit heavy-handed. Her family's first, over and over again, which I feel like is setting her up to be a suspect if something happens to Megan. Like, she keeps going, your family comes first, nothing else matters. You should be focused only on your family.
Well, I can't remember whether it was Wednesday or Thursday. She does say something like over her dead body as one of her lines, doesn't she?
Might as well
and if
just
that's
go,
not foreshadowing, I don't know what it is.
She might as well just say, I will kill anyone who isn't in my family.
So often when they have murder mysteries on Coronation Street, somebody at some point has said, I'll kill you!
Yeah.
So.
Flaming kill you!
Yeah.
So on Thursday, this is going on, and Ben's like, well, no matter what happens, we need to focus on Will. And Will's like, I'm going to school. And Ben's like, no, you're not. You shouldn't go to school. Don't go to school. Yes. I've never known so many people wanting to go to school on a week when they can't. So Sam is being interviewed by Kit, and he's very nervous about this. But Kit is going through getting him to say what he thinks has happened.
Yeah, and realising,
about the camera. And he's like, I set the camera up. I wasn't trying to be a peeping Tom. I was trying to get some concrete evidence. But she found out about it and she staged something. And Kit's like going, well, give me that then. And he's like, no, because it doesn't prove anything. It's fake. And if you see it, I think he's worried that if the police see it, they'll believe Megan's ruse. I also don't know why he didn't say, I saw her going into Leanne's house. I mean, the thing that's annoying me is that we had a massive big production about the fact that Steve put a Ring camera on number 1. And surely there would be video evidence of Will going into that flat and coming out hours later.
Just across the street, isn't it?
Yeah. So he's getting really upset because there's no proof. And he thinks that she's going to get away with it and then come and take revenge on him. Because I think he's seen the flash forward as well. Daniel goes to see Ben and he's like, look, Megan didn't groom your son. It was a crush. Happened to me. It's not fair. Don't punish her. It's Will who is the one with the unreciprocated feelings. And Ben's like, no, get out of here. I feel sorry for you, Daniel, because you're a mug being taken in by her. And he's really upset. I loved it when Ben
was throwing Daniel out there. Like...
Yeah, but I also loved it. I loved Daniel. Daniel is such a blunderer when it comes to being on the wrong on the wrong side of arguments, isn't he? He's always so self-righteous.
Yeah.
But you would be if you thought your girlfriend was having her career ruined by a stupid kid who lied about her. You'd be absolutely furious.
Well, he's always a little bit blinkered with his other halves anyway. Yeah. I think he thought the sun shone out of Bethany's and Daisy's and Sinead's arses.
Yep. He is, yeah.
Because he's the man, he's the important
Well,
one,
thinks,
and they're the
yeah.
precious little angels that he's now the warden of.
It's like women don't commit crimes. They're all stupid. They don't know how to commit crimes. Only men can do clever things. Like me, Daniel, the genius
the cleverest
of Weatherfield.
man of Weatherfield, yeah.
So, Tim and Sally are in the cafe, and he's a bit miffed because Ben gave him the cold shoulder earlier because he thinks he still has a grudge over the whole funeral thing.
Yeah.
And he's also mad because he thinks that Steve and Ben are friends and that he's being left out.
He's so upset he can't even finish his bacon sandwich. Sally has to do it for him.
It's interesting because there obviously is this link between Tim and Ben, but it's not like a harmonious one. So how would it be possible that Will gets talking to Tim? I don't know.
No, I don't know.
What is it?
It was interesting as well. Now we kind of bring all that up, that there was still nothing this week about Maggie being worried for Ben's health because he thinks that he might have Jim's myotopic that wasn't even mentioned at all this week, was it? I know that something else far more pressing and timely took Maggie's attention away, but that revelation has still got to come to the surface at some point.
Yeah. And when is his appointment? Is it not next week?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Didn't he say he's last week? Oh, he's going to in a couple of weeks' time.
Maybe.
Wow, what a lot of things this family is getting involved in.
Well, that's what you do, isn't it? If you want to get your new family,
you got to be in the top 10.
You don't turn them into the Baileys and then just have them in the background, do you?
No.
Give them the big stories.
Will is at the station. He's being interviewed with Ben there, and Kit asks him about getting to know Megan, and Will's like, "No, I don't want to go into details, but I can tell you for a fact that this is not. The allegations are wrong, and she's done nothing wrong." And Kit keeps asking, has she ever tried anything physical? And Will says, "No, I just want to go home." And he looks really, looks like he's hiding something. I think he thinks he's got a better poker face than he does.
Yeah.
And he still doesn't think anything wrong has happened, but he knows that if they find out, then Megan will get in trouble.
Yeah.
So he has to lie to them. But it must be really hard, at what point does he start to wonder if they might be right?
Well, Kit doesn't seem to believe him, does he? He's probably been in countless interviews where somebody has denied the truth.
They're not going to go, it's
he
fine.
can tell a lie and cover her up when he sees one, but it's just a case of finding the evidence now, isn't it? He tries to get on his good side. He isn't like bad cop about it, is he?
No, of course he's not.
Will's
he's
not
bad
taking
cop
the bait.
to Megan.
Yeah.
Leanne hears from Alia that Daniel is worried about Megan, and she says, "Listen, Megan is a paedophile. He's been terrorising Sam for weeks, so maybe you guys shouldn't take her side." Megan is also being interviewed. Adam's there representing her, and Kit is the one interviewing her.
She's so convincing, isn't she?
Yeah.
Those tears. She really does seem... I know, as a viewer who knows what she's up to, you can easily watch her and say, "Oh, what a load of rubbish." But in real life, if you were to know her and saw that reaction, she's so believable. She's excellent at turning on the waterworks.
Kit is a great character because I don't think he cares. Even if she was innocent, he'd be like, "I don't care whether you're innocent or not. I've got to do this. I've got to investigate this. Cry if you want to, but it's getting done."
Yeah.
It would have been really interesting if we hadn't seen anything of Will and Megan together at all. And we'd just seen Sam thinking something was going on.
Oh, yeah.
And we'd seen what he saw and nothing else of them together.
And then we'd have had to have pieced together ourselves as Sam making it up.
Yeah, and Megan crying, I think... Because, it's a soap, you would go,
they never do that, do they?
No, but clearly she did do it because she's so convincing that she didn't do it. But anybody watching her, you just feel sympathy because it is possible that they're lots of people.
Yeah, malicious allegations being made against teachers happen sadly all the time. And
you can't go into it going, "Look, just in case you didn't do it, we're not going to be too hard on you." How do you? Oh, it's really. I just find all of this so completely fascinating. So she's just crying, going, Will is just a kid with a crush on me. This is a nightmare. I am in total shock. The family, I am close to them, but I'm not grooming their son.
Oh, this is when Adam says, my client's from Hull. She can see a fishing expedition when she sees one.
And everyone's like, oh, God, Adam.
Did you hear that? I made a joke.
And then he leafs through his 101 jokes for police interview books and goes, I've got loads in here. If you didn't like that one, there's another one.
Doesn't Kit immediately shut him down and say, this isn't the time or place for humour, Mr. Barlow?
Oh, okay, because I've got one here. There's a teacher, a lawyer, and a donkey walking to a pub. You don't want that one? So Adam's like, trying to defend it, that you don't have any evidence. And Kit says, oh, interesting. We do have footage of the pair of you, actually, in Leanne's flat. What exactly encouraged Will to make a pass at you? Sort of, why would he have done it if you didn't lead him on, sort of thing?
Yeah, he was great. Really kind of digging deep there.
So, back at the pub, Maggie says, I've just been speaking to Chloe.
This was amazing. There were quite a few things this week, actually.
I forgot. We forgot.
We'd forgot. I'd even
remembered.
forgotten that Megan was pregnant, and that's terrible because I absolutely shouldn't. It was only a few weeks ago, but it was not in my head at all. And so when certain things got brought up, it was like, oh yeah, there's that.
That's great.
And Maggie taking the initiative to contact Chloe, who basically said no.
Well, Chloe is the person that Will's going out with. It's supposed to be his girlfriend.
Well, had been going out with the person who he'd supposedly had this
liaison
bonk in the hotel with on his birthday, and Ben had thought it was her, didn't actually see her
in the bathroom hiding. And left her there.
But that was brilliant.
So she's like, right, I phoned Chloe up. Guess what? They split up before we moved to Weatherfield, and she hasn't seen him since. And they all start to think, oh my God, the person in the hotel must have been Megan. Oh
if
my
you
God,
need, this
there must
was
be CCTV footage of them together. This proves it. We've got evidence. Let's go, get it.
I would say everything up until now, it's just been on a hunch. Like Sam's story has been on, this is my hunch. And do I believe him that he's been threatened? Oh, I don't know. And I speak to Megan, and she seems like she's not telling the truth, but maybe she is. But this is really, I would say, the first bit of hard evidence that the Driscolls had to say there's no getting out of this for her. That must have been her that day. So that was a really satisfying moment. But then, of course, no footage on the cameras because it was deleted exactly 1 minute past 12 this morning, was it, that Ronnie tells them?
Yeah,
it was 90 days ago.
I woke up at midnight to delete that.
Was that in today's episode or was that yesterday's episode?
They rush to the hotel and Ronnie's like,
that was yesterday's.
Sorry guys. That's when Megan comes home to find Leanne throwing all her stuff in the street and shouting at her and saying, who was it? Was it Sally and Tim were there? I can't remember.
Yeah, they walked past you.
Walking past, and Leanne was going, I'm protecting her victims by not naming her crime, but she can't stay here with me. She's a horrible one. I'd say why. Back at the pub, Ollie is like, oh, maybe they can uncover the files. The police can find them somewhere in the computer. Might be possible.
Oh, it's just in the recycle bin. That's what took down Rowan, wasn't it, on the Institute when Leanne looked in the recycle bin and found those files. So
the police guys there going, right, remember, it's not empty all, it's undo. It's not empty all, it's undo. God damn it, I did empty all again. It's because I had it in my head. Oh, another crime we'll never solve.
There would still be other footage, but that would have been quite...
Well, is there a shop outside the hotel that keeps their CCTV footage? Does the council have any it's not the only place they were.
No.
But it's the only place they knew that they were together on that day. And unfortunately, they didn't stay overnight. Otherwise, they could have had that the next day because that would have still been there.
Yeah, and I think it wasn't Megan. The hotel room wasn't booked in Megan's name either, was it? I think it was.
They used Eva's card to pay for it.
Yeah.
So they can't trace that either.
No.
But just like the planning of this storyline, I didn't actually check to see if it was really 90 days.
They wouldn't have said it if it wasn't, I believe.
So that is how pregnant Megan could be then.
But they had been sleeping together before then as well, so...
We don't know that. I think people are not sure. Some people are convinced yes, and some people are saying that day was the first day.
I thought that it's been made obvious that they'd been...
I think that they probably did, but I think a lot of people say that was the first time.
Well, the fact that Meghan had been intimate with his other mate in Hull when he was only, 14, 15, means it's not like she has got some kind of principles that I need to wait until they're 16 at least. So
I don't know.
No. See, I think they need to interview Raphael at the hotel because he knows.
He's seen everything.
He has seen it all. He knows Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. He's like, but he'd be like, sorry, priests, doctors and bartenders, we don't divulge the information.
He was, I can't remember who it was that he was in the background of a scene.
Daniel and Meghan.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, oh.
Yeah, and then they walked away from him.
Oh.
He loves a bit of goss, does Raphael.
I love Raphael. Look, if Todd's looking for a partner.
Yeah. Although, I'm going to say Raphael and Raymond, they could make quite a duo as well.
I think that Todd's a bit of a bloody stick in the mud, isn't he? Right, so back at the pub, Ollie is saying that, oh yeah, this is when they talk about the footage maybe being able to be retrieved. And then Leanne comes in and says, well, as I was going through her stuff, I found...
pregnancy vitamins.
And an annual by Jimmy Savile. So I'm completely convinced. I
found a Jim'll Fix It badge.
I found this pregnancy vitamins. I think that she's still pregnant. And they're like, why would she take them if she had the termination she told us all that she had?
Yeah.
And Eva's like, yeah, I knew that she was pregnant. So maybe there's a baby that we can...
She said that she's had the abortion, right?
She said she did, yeah. Because they all spoke to her about it.
Yeah, and she had said at the time that it was Daniel's.
And she said also, this could be my only chance, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah. This is another brilliant cliffhanger. This week was just full of really fantastic cliffhangers. And with them saying that proof that we need is in her belly.
Well, Eva says, all the evidence we need may well be growing inside Meghan's belly. And although that is quite a dramatic and exciting twist, it also feels like the saddest way for a baby to be spoken about.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not evidence.
Well, I don't know. It's a competition between this baby is evidence, this baby is bone marrow donor.
Yeah, I know. Baby's getting a bad time
They're getting in Tuesday's storylines before they're even born. Curry babies now.
Yeah. This baby, no one knows who their dad is. This baby's got a lump on his neck.
Yeah,
baby,
that's true.
She didn't know she was pregnant.
They could have like a cover story on the front of Inside Soaps of the fetuses.
Oh no, they could do.
Oh dear me.
Oh, poor baby.
Do you remember when Coronation Street couples just used to have babies and it was lovely
they used to plan
having a baby and thought, oh, this is the perfect addition that we need for this family.
Yeah, they used to go, oh, shall we try? No, never try in Coronation Street because it will go wrong.
Yeah, and if it doesn't happen, you don't get pregnant, one will just turn up on your doorstep.
Quite literally.
Yes.
On Friday, Daniel's being interviewed. And he is not having it at all. He's like, nope. Begging is the dictionary definition of appropriate. She is kind. She's decent.
I should know. I've got so many dictionaries in my classroom.
I've looked it up at the Webster's, Collins,
Merriam-Webster,
Cambridge.
Yeah, not that I need to because I
know them all already.
Excellent vocabulary myself.
Exactly.
They're there for my students.
She's beautiful. She's blonde. She's got big eyes. She's got high cheekbones. She's got a beautiful little mouth. She's very short. She would never commit a crime. Whereas Will is very tall and he looks grumpy. So
he's got such a grudge against him. I love how that he still was like
he's always got a kid he hates who he makes their life miserable and he thinks he's a good man.
But I think
he is right in this case because Will did try to kill him.
I'm glad that they built up this animosity between the two of them because it helped
Tell
the
you
situation
what,
here.
This is really like I know sometimes we say, oh Corrie, why did they do that? They missed the ball, a trick on that one. They dropped the ball here.
Yeah, this story was a really well plotted,
really meticulously planned,
joining all the dots.
So many things all coming together into one really great week. So. Maggie and Will are in the precinct. Again, the Driscolls love this. This must be what attracted Will to Meghan. Oh, you like to have private conversations in public places, just like my family. I feel safe with you. So she's there going, look, you've clearly been through a lot, but you can tell me anything. Did you attack
Well, no,
Daniel
she knows that he attacked Daniel.
because of Meghan?
Oh, yeah.
Let me finish my sentence. And he's like, yeah, I did. And then Daniel comes striding over, going, oh, well, you bugger. Meghan's been suspended because of you. I hope you're happy with yourself. This is disgusting. You're terrible and immoral, etc. Leanne's in the pub telling Eva and Ben that Adam is representing Meghan, and they cannot believe this. This is shocking. I just love this too. It's so many dimensions.
Oh yeah, because this had come out in the Rich storyline, hadn't it?
Yeah,
With him
and
dropping
they're like,
it in there about from the emails.
And Adam's Eva's ex and everything, and then Kit comes in and tells them that they're still looking through the technology and the phones and everything to try to find some evidence. And Ben says Meghan might be pregnant, and Kit's like, we cannot force her to take a DNA test, so...
Luckily, I'm a bent copper.
So I can.
So I can do that, exactly, while she's sleeping.
I'm going to steal... No, you can't steal her hair. You need to steal the baby's hair.
Yeah.
That's a bit more difficult.
Yeah.
How could you can't... What can you do?
I don't know.
I'm sure he'd think of something. Just smash her wing mirrors with a crowbar. That works sometimes, doesn't it? Adam is with Ken and Tracy. I love this too. Tracy's like, of course Meghan did it. I didn't like her look. I've always thought something weird about her. I'd never liked her from the beginning. And Ken's like, maybe she did do it. And Daniel's like, what do you mean? Hang on a minute. No, you can't
Ken's
say
got
this.
no reason to be. But like Tracy, I can totally buy her.
Yeah, Tracy's like,
any other woman on the street,
No,
she's automatically a bitch. But Ken's like, why?
Yeah, what? They're like,
But I didn't care. It was fun.
Arlia's like, Sam did claim that she threatened him. And
yeah, this is Alia yet again undermining her own law officers by saying, I think maybe we're representing the wrong person. Are we
think there
evil
might be
like
evidence
Fabians?
against our client
Yeah.
that I've just brought up. Shut
And
up,
Adam's
Alia.
like, shut up, Alia. Yeah.
Yeah.
She just can't help herself, can
And Daniel's
she?
like, yeah, shut up, Alia. Yeah, Alia really does not seem to be in the right job.
No.
It's like she's a vegetarian in a slaughterhouse.
Yeah,
She's
I
going,
know.
do they have to die? Can we not just nibble the sides? Maggie sees Sam coming out sweet enough, and he comes out just before Leanne and Toya, who are behind him, and she comes and confronts him. She's like, "Oh, you happy with yourself, you little swat? Why didn't you say anything before now?"
I thought that this was an unnecessary scene, and I know that I am a bit of a Maggie defender, and I totally will say, yeah, this was in character of her. She is nasty,
She's a bitch.
and she drips poison in, and she just outright. And it doesn't surprise me at all that she's treating Sam like this, but I didn't at the moment feel like it served any plot purpose other than to remind you that Maggie's a cow.
They set up so many things in this week that we said, I'm not sure why they did that at the time.
Well, I hope that it comes to something.
But yeah, I thought this was... Maybe this is just showing, like, the social consequences, because Maggie is standing in for a lot of people who would probably say the same thing. Like, why didn't you say anything before now? But then she accuses
better grades
him
in PE.
of trying to get better grades. And they're like, excuse me, lady. Toya and Leanne come out and say, no, you mind your own business. Let's go, Sam. Ignore her. She don't know what she's talking about.
But again, Maggie is probably... She must be feeling a little bit guilty herself for not spotting this beforehand. So she's projecting onto little Sam. Not on, Maggie. Come on now. Catch yourself on. Behave yourself.
Maggie is being interviewed again. And Kit...
No, Megan.
Maggie.
Megan.
Come
on. I know we've spent nearly 2 hours discussing this story, but...
I was going to say Maggie again.
Megan
is in the interview room, and Kit says, why didn't you say you were pregnant? And she said, I was keeping it to myself until Daniel is ready to be a father again.
She's going to be showing very... you know, depending on how this appointment on Monday goes. But yeah, she's surely going to be showing very soon. So there's only... This was waiting to happen, right?
Well, they measure pregnancy times in weeks, but they measure time for CCTV footage in days. But I think 90 days is about over 12 weeks, and I think that's probably when you're starting to show.
7/12s or 84, yeah.
And surely she's due the scan soon. Or
I've
she's
kind of
had
lost
it.
track. I think I'm confused in this one. We're showing a storyline with all these scans and everything. But okay,
Oh,
well,
yeah.
could that be what the appointment's for on Monday? And it's
Yes,
not...
you're right. It could be for a scan.
Yeah, and then she'll be able to look at it and see, does it have a broccoli haircut or does it have
A
does it
Daniel
have
haircut.
does
I
it
don't
have a
know
book
what-
of poems cuddled in there next to it, and
Is
that's
it-
how we knew who the daddy is.
Oh, it's a little haiku.
I don't know. Right, come on. I can't believe it's so late in this
Right, so
episode.
what have we said now? So
We've just been talking
Kit
about...
says get a DNA test on
Yes.
this baby. If you're right, it's going to prove that it's Daniel's after all. And she cries and goes, "Oh, why should I? He's the only one I've been with." And she's just,
It's
her
not
line.
100% evidence, is it, when she says no test, thank you, but it does make her look super guilty.
The thing is, there is a very, very small chance it could damage, it could hurt the baby. It's not, nothing ever is completely risk-free. So she could use that as her reason. And if she says something like, this is a miracle pregnancy. But the thing is, though, she knows that the baby will be born eventually.
Yeah,
So the only reason it would make sense to say I'm not having the DNA test is if, one, she thinks she can escape.
Well, yeah, that's exactly. She thinks that she's going to be
Go somewhere else.
Yeah, hiding out somewhere.
Or she
with her
thinks
sweetheart Will by the
that
time this baby pops out.
she's going to have a termination. Those are the two options that she has to hide the fact.
I get what you're saying
Unless-
about maybe there are risks involved in the DNA test, but I think if I were to weigh it up against the fact that I'm being, investigated on criminal charges here and I'm innocent, if she were innocent, which we know she's not, then I think that the DNA test most people would go for.
Oh yes, of course you would.
Because it would stop any investigation. Oh no, it wouldn't stop any investigation, Dad. That's the thing, would it? If it turns out to be Daniel's baby,
It
that doesn't mean
mean-
that she's not having an inappropriate
It's not-
relationship with Will.
They're not going to just leave her alone.
No, so actually, what good could come out of this? Nothing. Something bad could come out of it.
Yeah, that's right. If you think of it, even if she's innocent, and she said, "No, you're not doing a test because it doesn't matter either way. You're going to persecute me because you're doing this with no evidence." So, even if you don't find evidence there, you're going to carry on looking.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. There's going to be some... I'm wondering whether there's something else that we've missed over the week somewhere that's going to be the this is the thing that you thought you'd all
possible.
forgotten. I don't know. But anyway, she decides she's not going to have the test then, is she?
So, Adam and Daniel were in the cafe together.
And Alex.
Alex turns up. We haven't seen him for a long time.
Yeah. How long is it? It was beginning of... It was the
Over a
14
year.
months since we've seen Alex, but it's okay. Anybody who was wondering where Alex has been, he's been on an American wrestling tour, apparently.
How many days was that?
Course
Because
you have,
I
Alex.
measure American wrestling tours in days.
I measure them in cycles of the moon. It's a bit like... And it's just coming to the other end of one, what with it being Eid this weekend, of course.
Oh, what does that mean? What's the moon doing? Big or small?
I think it's
At the
just
end.
showing up at a particular time. Look, it doesn't matter. Alex is back. Hurrah.
It's a full moon.
Maybe
Hooray.
but maybe we'll see him again in 2030, perhaps.
What? Honestly, Michael, the wrestling, it's out of our hands. The
I
wrestling
just don't see the
federation.
point of why they mentioned that I've not seen you round here much, because it's just very fourth wall break, isn't it? Because
I don't
surely
like it
he's
when they
been
draw
there.
attention to things like that.
He's been. I know
Don't
it
need
is.
to
It's
say.
it's drawing attention to something that's gone on outside the confines of the show.
Yeah.
He's been there in the context of the show, just not when anything dramatic.
So I work weekends, so you wouldn't ever see me.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
you people don't understand the concept. So Eva and Susie walk in, and Eva just drops this on Daniel. Did you know that Megan was pregnant? And he's like, qu'est-ce que c'est? And Eva says, well, this could be the only way to get justice for Will, that doing this DNA test. Then we see Megan and Will in a car by the precinct where no one ever looks or goes. And she says...
Tell you what, if Stephen Reed was still here, he'd have been there lurking around by those bins, wouldn't he?
Yeah, it's a good job there's no drones flying around taking evidence. She says, look, I've told the police that the baby is Daniel's. She gives him a burner phone. Says, don't let anybody find it. Someone's going to find it.
Someone's going to find that out.
He says, let's stick to the plan and get out of here. Megan doesn't know that Daniel has found out about the baby, so she meets him in the hotel, and he immediately confronts her, and she says, sorry, I didn't tell you, but you freaked out when you saw the test. And he says to her, is it mine? And she immediately like, oh, here we go. What? How could you ask that? She says. And they things get quite fraught. This is when Raphael's like, why did you move? He's probably like, carry on standing next to the tree because I've bugged it. So Daniel says, look...
Raphael should just do his own little spin-off podcast of things I overhear
I know,
in Chariot Square.
Things I hear on the beat. So
him and Dirk.
Yeah.
Co-hosts together. They could use Amy's old recording studio because I'm sure she doesn't do it anymore.
No, probably not. So they talk. Daniel says, it looks like you've got something to hide. You've got to do this DNA test. Why would you refuse? Unless... And he says, I won't trust you till you do it. And if you don't, we're through. And she just says, well, we're through now. You're dumped.
The story moved at such a great pace. This could have dragged on and on and on. But by the end of the episode, with Daniel already on the side of, I believe that Megan did it, I never would have thought it happened. It was great.
And it's not even over, because we still have more drama with Toya and Leanne coming into Speed Dial to have a go at Alia.
Yeah, this is Toya kind of finding her in a Battersby a bit more after playing sidekick to Leanne this week.
I thought that I think Toya was I think she would have been a bit more restrained here, because Leanne was just going, oh, you work for a company that represents pedos. I'm not your friend, we're just business partners. I loved partners.
How she was broadcasting it throughout Speed Dial as well. Yeah.
You can go around representing all the little pedos you like. And everyone is like, this is really awkward, but I did order a Nihari that still hasn't come, and you guys are shouting about paedophiles. So, Adam... Then,
is this going to be
drama.
Speed Dial risking going? All the businesses at the moment are risking closing. The Undertakers, the lawyers firm, now Speed Dial.
Well, they're all I mean, you got the pubs. The pub is mad.
The pub's fine. Its closing drama was a few years ago.
The pub is mad at the bistro and Speed Dial. Speed Dial because of Alia working there and the lawyers firm. Bistro's mad at both of them too.
Yeah,
but also
businesses at war
over paedophiles. So, Adam does not get the best of welcomes by the Driscolls when he goes into the pub. And again, Adam is so brazen, he doesn't get that it might not be the best place to go right now. Everyone's mad at him and he doesn't get it. And they're all really rude to him. And then Daniel comes in and says, right, drop Megan as a client. And Adam's like, hang on a minute, buddy, you told me to take her on in the first place. And Daniel then decides to announce to everybody that Megan's refusing to take the DNA test, and so therefore, as far as he's concerned, the baby is Will's baby. And Adam's like, no, hang on, look, Adam is my... Adam says, Megan is my client, that's it. It's the law, it's my job, it's nothing to do with me. And Maggie's like, ends up trying to kick him out. But Daniel, before he goes, brings up the fact that he was attacked by Will. And as to remind everybody, because we had to remind ourselves earlier today, didn't we?
We did.
So Daniel was attacked at Christmas by Will. Maggie saw it happen. Mm-hmm. Then Maggie gave an alibi to Will, to the police, that they believed. And then later on they picked up a homeless guy who admitted he did it because he wanted to spend time in prison because he wanted to be off the streets. And when they did the restorative justice session... he basically admitted to Daniel that it wasn't him that did it because he had a gammy leg.
Yeah,
Daniel worked it out.
And
the guy was like, look, you don't rock the boat, mate. I want this.
So after that, Daniel kind of thought, I think it might be Will here. But I don't think it's been particularly brought up in the week since then.
But Daniel has now realised the motive that Will has got, which is that he was going out with what Will thought was his girlfriend.
Yeah, and although we were drowned in Maggie reaction shots last week, we didn't have quite so many this week, but we did end on one, didn't we? With her standing at the pumps going, oh dear. I'm going to get into trouble in the police now. Because she's given a false alibi.
Maggie gave the false alibi, and as they were talking, as Daniel was shouting about being attacked by Will, Ben is behind Maggie and he kind of does a look at her like, oh God, what has she done now?
Yes, yeah. So it's that this family is definitely at risk of I don't know, will they collapse?
No, they won't. They're going to stick together. The thing is, Maggie is so much firmer on this whole family stick together thing than everybody else is. You know, they would throw her under the bus. If she'd done something wrong, they would throw her under the bus. But she is perfectly willing to ruin her own life for any of them.
Do Ben or Eva know that Maggie couldn't have been with Will on the night it happened? I can't remember now. I've got a feeling like...
I think they know... Yeah, they didn't Eva say?
Yeah, I've got a feeling that Eva might have said something about that. So it's not going to be a big surprise.
No.
But I suppose it just gets a bit more serious now. I don't know. I think we said all we can say about this storyline. It was proper epic. I just cannot wait for Monday. Sometimes you get disappointed though, don't you? Because a story that takes centre stage one week can just be relegated to a C story the week after.
Well, yeah, or they'll say, on Monday we'll do something, and then they just don't.
But this is in such a position right now that they can't just drop it, surely, and say, oh, we need to have some more scenes with Carla and Lisa with a baby.
Yeah, but they might go, I'm sorry, like Monday could start with Ben going, Kit, what's happening? And him going, sorry, mate, we can't do anything at the moment. We're waiting for boring things to happen.
But do you think that
we can't talk about it anymore.
Do you think Will's going to go on the run with Megan? She can't. If she knows that the police are after her, she can't escape, can she? Because that's just going to make her look more guilty. Look, let's wait and see what happens. Let's wait and see. Sorry, we must move on.
I genuinely think we could spend another hour talking about this story.
I loved it. I really, really loved it. Right, so the Todd story. We must blast through the rest of these because we've already done like a normal street talk length already nearly, and only done one story. So we got a little bit of George at the beginning of the week. He's still getting these prank calls from people who really just want to hurl abuse at him down the phone. So he's not having the best of times. And Christina does her best to try and big him up with an inspirational Taylor Swift comeback story. But alas, it's still not doing the job. The story doesn't particularly focus on George this week. It's mostly about Todd and Theo hanging around him and tracking him on his phone, and just so happening to pop up wherever Todd is, Theo's not too far behind, and he's there. Oh, go on.
My favourite bit about it is the way that he walks into a space with his phone out as if it's some kind of compass that only ever points at Todd.
Yeah.
And then Todd is very obviously standing right in front of him, but Theo has to look at his phone as if the phone is the only way to confirm that it's Todd and not some kind of shapeshifter.
Anyway, Theo comes into the Undertaker's and he says, oh, I need to come around and pick up a few more of my things. Is that okay? And Todd's just kind of he's regretting this split, isn't he, at this point?
I thought that he was, the way he was acting towards Theo, I thought it was, I'm scared of you and I'm sad that it happened, but I know that you abused me and I'm glad that we're not together anymore.
But as
it goes along, it becomes more apparent that he's just
pining for him.
And I think I might have not put it together, but it was Theo that ended the relationship. It wasn't Todd.
Yeah.
Because
the question is, did Theo end the relationship knowing, don't worry, I'll be able to get him back. I'll be able to beg him to take me back. And
it was a power move.
And he's loving it, because we're seeing, even it was in today's episode when we see him walking off and doing an evil grin at the camera.
Yeah, he does it. He's just loving it. He's just like a mischievous devil.
Yeah. So anyway, he comes around and gets his stuff, and they just have a bit of a sad parting because it's really difficult. It's really, really difficult not to just say, "Come on, Todd, what are you doing?
You have escaped. You've done it."
You know what's happening to you.
He doesn't.
You know you were going to try and escape. You know you were packing an escape bag. You know all of these things. You've recognised the signs. Why on earth?
But I don't know that he did. It's because he doesn't have anyone to confide in. We can only guess from what his expressions.
It's like, was the CCTV episode for nothing?
But didn't
he set the CCTV cameras up as a record of the abuse that he's suffering?
I thought he set them up to tell Theo that it was both of them, not just him, that was causing arguments.
I mean, he said that afterwards, this is proof.
But now it seems more likely that is what he genuinely thought. And it seems like he's been brainwashed.
I wish the story was doing a better job, because we're just being led to believe that Todd knows what's going on with him. And
but we're not.
if I thought that Todd was
not
completely
being-
in the dark about it and he'd been consistently oblivious to the fact that he's being abused, then I would buy this more. But I
It's
am
unclear
kind
to
of
me
now
what's
going, oh,
happening.
Todd, no, why are you doing this? You don't need this.
It's really unclear to me what's happening, because I don't think...
And the fact that this is kind of out of character for him, the Todd that we're seeing now, and I know that this kind of abuse takes its toll on people, and it can completely look what happened to Yasmin. But it felt more believable to Yasmin. Todd's nobody's punching bag, and he's just getting knock after knock and asking for more. It's really tricky, and I know people have written into us and commented online and saying, no, this is what happens sometimes, but I wish that Coronation Street did just a little bit more of a job of explaining that and making him look like less of a doormat. It's really hard, isn't it,
It's
to not
hard.
sound victim blamey, but I feel like I'm not blaming Todd. I'm saying that
The story,
the story
feels not well done, because it's confusing what he's thinking and why he's thinking it.
what we need is a peep show episode for him and Theo.
Yeah,
What
do.
is going on in his head? What I just
I know. I'm
know.
going to say too, not everybody has knowledge of abusive relationships, and it's not. I've seen plenty of people being confused as well, and it can't be a coincidence that a lot of people aren't really getting what's going on here. And people aren't being willfully ignorant if they don't understand something.
No.
People have got to be patient with each other.
I'm seeing people online saying that this story needs to end, it's too horrific now, it's terrible, it's turning my stomach. And I'm saying, well, I don't think it should end for that reason. I feel like it should
I
end...
feel the same way about cancer storylines.
No, I know.
Can't blame anyone for that.
Yeah, but I'm feeling that now is the time for it to end, because it feels like they're just retreading old ground again. And to be perfectly frank, it feels like they're treading water until the 23rd of April.
Yes,
They've got to be doing
strange.
something for this story. Of course, next week, like we said earlier... Did we say this earlier? I've lost track. It was a few hours ago now. This wedding, next week... potentially going to happen. Yeah, we did, didn't we? And is this part of Theo's move to get back with him so he can say, hey, I didn't cancel that wedding date? Maybe.
You can totally imagine him overwhelming Todd to the point where he agrees to just jump straight into this, from getting back together to getting married. Because that's what abusers do. They love bomb you. And I can see Theo doing that to Todd.
It could be such a miserable wedding. Like, who'd be going along? Which guests? Like, no Jason, no Eileen to be there.
But that's
Gary
very
might go
fitting
along as a
for
witness, possibly.
What happens to people? This is what I keep saying. A lot of the hallmarks are missing here. Like, he's not been isolated from support. He's not had his he's got his money back now. He had his job.
Yeah, I guess that other people like Sarah Louise and that could go along to the wedding maybe, and they could kind of be muttering in the back, Christina saying this doesn't feel right, and maybe Todd will end up sort of confronting them and saying, look, you're saying that I shouldn't get married, how dare you mutter, I invited you to this wedding and you're just sitting there sort of blasting us, well, screw you, I don't want anything to do with you anymore. And then again, Theo's won because he is successfully isolated from these people who have been whispering their concerns up until now.
Yeah, Todd is just all this week. Todd is jealous of what Theo's up to.
Yeah, Theo is purposely making him jealous and putting Todd in situations to
sad
make him jealous.
And regretful that their relationship ended. And he's not said to anybody, I'm glad I'm out of that because he was abusing me. He hasn't said anything like that.
No, he's not.
And
he's
he
not
had the
vocalised.
opportunity to, if he wanted to. So that leads me to believe that he hasn't worked out that was the right move.
And we know there is a domestic violence support group going on at the community centre, as attended by Jodie.
Yeah. Well, he didn't leave the relationship, and he still wants to get back with him.
It's just a bit frustrating. So Tuesday's episode was Theo purposefully introducing him to this Andy to make Todd assume that this is a date that Theo's got, but actually it's not, it's just somebody he's working with, so he's just kind of stirring things there to make Todd feel jealous, and then make him Todd apologise to Theo later for getting the wrong end of the stick, and Theo's like, oh no, it's fine. And Todd's saying, oh, why are you being so nice about it? Well, your heart's broken, says Theo. And Todd says, well, maybe we should get back together again. And Theo's playing a bit hard to get still, isn't he? He's like, he knows the long game and he's not ready to take Todd back quite at this moment, and says, oh yeah, maybe one day we could be mates, who knows. And they just kind of part sadly again at the end of this.
One of the key things he says is, Theo, is that when we were together it was electric, but when it was bad there was too much pressure. So he's deliberately using words that completely absolves him of any wrongdoing.
Yeah.
And kind of makes it seem as though it's some kind of
Todd's
inevitable, like, you know, hormones or something that wasn't any, you know, not his fault.
Yeah.
And using the word pressure, like, he deliberately didn't say violent or unpleasant or, you know, that we were arguing. He doesn't use anything that really, I mean, pressure is quite, it's got a negative connotation, but it's not as negative as, you know, violence and fighting and...
Yeah, so the way he's playing it is going to make it out like Todd's persuaded him.
Todd's
won him back.
Yeah.
And so that when they
I
get
didn't
together...
want to be together because it was too much pressure.
Yeah. Okay, so Wednesday rolls round and we remember about this marathon that he's got taking place this weekend, which he didn't have to do, but it is in Paul's name after all, so I'm going to go ahead with it anyway. And Glenda, bless her, says, you know what? You need to wash this man right out of your hair, and I'm going to introduce you to my pal Raymond, who was on the cruise ships with me. And he's a right laugh. You can have a great time with him. And
Todd doesn't seem like a cruise ship boyfriend.
No, I don't. I wouldn't say that. You know, when we saw the two of them together on Thursday, you're right. There wasn't a brilliant match, and I would still say bring him back and put him with Sean. I know Glenda said to him, or did she say something like, you deprived the room of oxygen if you and Raymond got together, Sean, which was great. But yeah, it wasn't the best match, but I did enjoy him anyway. So Theo, he finds out about this, doesn't he? And he gets all jealous and then starts propositioning Sean.
Yes, this was odd.
Well, yeah, Sean was a bit like, what on earth? Good on Sean for not taking the bait for this. Yeah, he's like, I'm not interested in your sort whatsoever, actually. Although, Sean, you've been on a dry spell that's been quite a few years at this point. I'm surprised he's not just desperate for anyone.
Well, the monk life chose him.
It did. Sean is like one of Coronation Street's most tragic singletons ever, isn't he?
It really is. He's like, no one wants to put me with anybody else. No, nobody.
Like, he went out with Marcus for a bit. He went out with Dentist Man, didn't he, a few years ago?
Yes, he did.
Who turned out to be a wrong un.
Yeah.
Coronation Street has just got this real axe to grind against Sean. They just refuse to let him be happy. I don't think there's been anybody that I can think of that's been so perennially single as Sean. At least somebody who would love to be in a relationship. And actually, I think, I know he's really high maintenance, but I think Sean settling down with somebody who truly loves him would be very heartwarming.
I think that would have to happen off screen. I think he'd leave with a boyfriend. That would be his happy ending.
I know that not everybody needs a relationship, and it's like what we were saying with the babies. Like, sometimes people are don't have a baby, and then they have a baby imposed upon them, and they realise, I did want to be a mum after all. But it's not like Sean's been saying, I'm happily single. He's been desperately trying to find a fella for the best part of 25 years now, and just hit wall after wall after wall.
I genuinely think some characters are better off single, like Glenda, Mary. I think don't need boyfriends, girlfriends, whatever.
Yeah, maybe. I just feel bad for Sean. I'm not feeling that Glenda is craving somebody, is she?
Let's get on.
And at least Mary got married to Norris. Sean's had nothing. Poor guy. Maybe they're just, I don't know. Right. Anyway, what else happened? That was it for Wednesday. Thursday was all about the date between Raymond and Todd in the bistro. Whilst Gary's 40th birthday is going on, Theo comes in. He's tracked Todd again, hasn't he? But if I was Todd, knowing that Gary and Theo were mates, I probably wouldn't arrange to meet Raymond in the bistro while this party's going on, just on the off chance that Theo turns up.
If I saw them having their birthday party there, I'd be like, come on, Raymond, let's go to the pedo restaurant.
Either the Rovers or Speed Dial. The only places that are to go. Yeah. Or maybe Roy's. Anyway, Raymond was a good laugh. But at the end of the evening, when Raymond asked Todd, do you want to come along to Canal Street? Todd turns him down. But they do walk out together, which doesn't sit very well with Theo. I know that it's a complete long shot and a stupid coincidence if this ever were to happen, but I'd be interested still if Owen could come back into it. And the fact that we saw Owen, Theo's ex, at Canal Street, we've seen Raymond. Raymond knows who Theo is now. Do we have a possibility in the future that Raymond gets chatting to Owen, learns about what's happened between him and Theo, and that's... It feels like it's a missed opportunity if Owen doesn't come back into it at some point and go, this is what he did to me. Is Raymond's the one to go and get Owen, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I would like that.
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
And we know that these coincidental meetups can happen on Coronation Street.
Oh, they happen all the time. It would be weird if they didn't.
Todd's clearly not in a position to save himself at the moment, so somebody else needs to.
They're going to get back together again. Because... otherwise, this isn't the end. This isn't the end of the story, is it?
Yeah. Theo is his next little bit of his plan on Friday's episode was to say that he is going to maybe move to Belfast somewhere, and we haven't got a future, have we, Todd? So it doesn't matter. And Todd's clearly disappointed in this news, which Theo finds highly amusing when he walks off there.
Well, it's triumphant, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not laugh. It's not like ha ha. This is
it's ha ha. This is hilarious. How easy Todd is to wrap around my little finger. I think.
Yeah.
But later in the episode, when they're at the bistro again, Todd's with James and invites Theo over. Theo takes the opportunity to slip a bit of something or other into Todd's drink, into his orange juice, to get him. A bit woozy.
We don't know what
for
it
the
was,
evening.
but it makes him sleepy.
Yeah.
And then he goes home.
Yeah, and then he goes home and ends up
falls
passed out
unconscious
on the sofa so that Theo can change his alarm clock so he's not going to wake up in time for this marathon on Monday. Was this Theo's plan? Like, how long had he had this powder?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. This seemed quite spontaneous to me.
The fact that he's done it the day before the marathon makes it sound like it was plotted a little bit, but then, it could have all gone completely wrong had Todd decided not to go out with James that
Exactly.
evening.
How did he know that he would be out somewhere he could put the powder in his drink?
Yeah. I can't remember whether
I never
Todd
thought
had
about
said
the
it.
implications of that.
Yeah. So if you need any more reason to see that Theo was a proper wrong, and now he can add... Well, I thought it was going to be date rape. Literally, when Theo was there on the sofa, I did wonder whether they were going to go down that very, very dark path. But it wasn't. It was just, I'm going to knock you out so that you're going to wake up too late on Monday and you won't have to do a marathon. You can thank me later.
Yeah, what a gift.
So, I guess... What's going to happen on Monday with that then? Is Todd's going to wake up... Theo's going to blame him, saying, "Oh, you idiot! You didn't set your alarm. Well, you were 3 sheets to the wind. Never mind. I'm sure Paul doesn't mind that you've not raised money for him.
Yeah,
there'll be a bit of that gets dropped in there.
Yeah,
and he'll
comfort him. He'll be Todd's source of comfort when he is feeling guilty and down about letting himself down.
Yeah, I mean, Todd may well say, ever since we split up, it feels like everything's gone wrong for me, and that could be the way in for, well, we don't have to be split up, I guess. I think, I have enjoyed this story up to now. I think when it's standing up next to what was going on with the Driscoll drama, it was just incomparable, wasn't it? But it was fine. It was totally fine this week. But every time they came on the scene, I just was like, no. Driscoll's, please. More the Maggie drama.
Let's talk about the even less exciting, perhaps.
It started off unexciting, but
I love Rich.
It got more interesting for the wrong reasons. The filthy rich story.
It's really interesting that this is going on at the same time that Adam is doing the Driscoll storyline.
Yes. He's representing the wrong people. He doesn't care, does he?
No.
So he's representing...
You're not supposed to care.
No.
I mean, you're not supposed to ask them if they did it or not. Are you supposed to be like, what evidence can how can I defend your case? That's the question.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's been in the game long enough to know that that's the way it works.
He doesn't care.
But other people out of the lawyer business don't really get it still.
Well, he wants to be rich. That's all he cares about. So he just wants money. So they're arguing about this.
Jenna Mackey.
So Jenny, what do we call her?
Jackie Mackey. She was on the podcast last week.
Ali is trying to get Adam to not take her on as a client because Rich threatened her because she went around undermining his business development thing by telling people what their rights were because she's like the Che Guevara of Weatherfield.
Exactly.
And Adam's like, I don't care, Jackie Mackie's going to sign this contract. And Alia is saying, no, don't do it. She's such a pain in the arse. She always emails you late at night. And Adam says, I don't care, I want money. Mm-hmm. So Rich has texted her going, better do what I say.
Yeah, drop her.
And Sally comes up and for, ordering food or whatever. And she's like, oh, isn't it so hard to do 2 jobs at once? Like I had to do that once and make some really hard decisions.
And I was supervisor and a sewing machine girl at Underworld. I was surprised that she didn't drop in a Mayor of Weatherfield reference there. Go on. Well, she also talks a bit about that time that she found out that Mike Baldwin was counterfeiting clothes. I think this was a reference to the Stephen Reed K-Beck story of the 90s, but it doesn't matter because basically the end conclusion that Sally came to from this was sometimes you just got to follow your conscience. And I was like, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I don't do that enough already.
That's all I ever do.
So Rich comes into Speed Dial to have a go at her and she stands up to it and she says, guess what? We're going to hire Jackie Mackey no matter what you say. So she tells Adam on Tuesday about this blackmail and
she just says if it blows up in my face, it's on me, basically.
But he goes and phones up Fabian, and it turns out he's arranged a meeting behind Alia's back with Rich, and he tells her we've got to sort this out. So they all are at this meeting. That Rich turns up to it, and they give him this weak deal, and I was like, why is Rich taking this deal? Because he's not won here, but he looks so smug. What was it that
they said?
Well,
we just won't poach anymore.
Adam says, well, I'll stop going after your clients if you stop suing him. And he says, no, I'll only stop suing her if you promise not to work with any of my old clients. And then they shake on it. And he smirks as he walks off, does Rich. And I'm like, why does he think he's won? He hasn't. But he does win in the end because he's been leaking all of their work emails all over social media. He hacked them.
Yeah, I don't think we found out how he was able to hack, did he?
No, I think he said in the meeting, and it was very quick, so he might not have noticed it. He was like, Adam, what's your year of birth and favourite colour? Just give me a random number. Interesting.
I don't know what he's done. I don't think it matters at the end of the day. They never get technology right, even if they explain it. What's your grandmother's name?
So they've been hacked, and it's very awkward because this is all stuff like saying Debbie is flaky and unreliable. And
there were a few unprofessional emails shared, which I'm sure happens from work email addresses up and down the country.
Never write anything in an email that you wouldn't show in court. That's what you got to remember.
Well, I'm sure they've learned a lesson.
I learned that lesson myself. So not because I went to court. On Thursday, Adam's gone viral again, and it's not this time for somebody putting pill on his car. He is convinced that Rich has done this, but Alia's like, oh, we can't prove it. Ronnie has to go at him for being rude about Debbie in this email, and he's trying to say, look, mate, it was just 2 professionals blowing off steam. You shouldn't have seen it, I'm sorry, etc, etc. And Rich comes in like, oh, it wasn't me, I didn't do it. Maybe there's more to come though if they haven't released everything yet. Maybe you should not defend a paedophile. See you later.
This was at a time when people didn't know that Adam was defending Meghan, wasn't it?
He says it very loudly, and Leanne hears this and finds out from that Adam is defending Meghan.
Yeah, but
it would have come out.
This was his way of saying, well, I know something that nobody else would know. It was me, but what are you going to do? About it?
I love him.
I mean,
I think he should defend Meghan.
I had found a lot of this story very dull, but as soon as Rich started hacking their emails, I was like, how great.
He's like, Alia,
I hacked your email
and I fell asleep.
Yeah.
And missed a marathon. This is so boring.
Yeah, I know. It's one of these times when we're supposed to be on Adam and Alia's side, clearly.
Are you?
Yes, of course you are. I just couldn't help cheering.
Leave Jackie Mackey alone
in this situation. Like, so I'm not interested in where this goes, but
I kind of am, but only because it's funny. Whose go is it now? Is it mine or yours?
No, it's my go. It was just the Mal story. Well, although the biggest development in this one, I would say this week, is the fact that Nina has got her black hair again.
Yes, there
Back
was
to black.
there was a clickbait about that, but I didn't. It was just like people are shocked about hair transformation.
Oh, I wasn't shocked because I'd seen Molly Gallagher's Instagram at the beginning of the year, and I know that she's gone back to black again for New Year.
I mean, it was all big news this week because
Sally Carman's
gone a bit browny red.
She's not blonde anymore,
and
is she?
Sydney Martin's gone brunette as well.
I know, it's all changed in the Corrie hair department, so keep an eye out for that one.
Possibly cope with it.
Who's
who now?
I know we're not supposed to comment on appearances, and it's gone. No, I think that I prefer Nina with black hair. I'm gonna say.
She didn't dye it for you, baby.
I know she didn't dye it for me, but I'm gonna say I think when I think Nina, I still picture her with the black hair, the proper full-on goth look. So I like that this week. Very good job. Mal wakes up, doesn't he? Basically, but they're talking about, are there any other leads? No, there aren't any other leads. Oh no, Monday wasn't Mal waking up at all. Monday was this other guy turning up at the station who saw Kit bonking Mal on the head, wasn't it? So he meets this witness outside the station, does Kit.
Yes.
And he says, look, what did you think you saw on the night of Mr. Roper's attack? Well, I saw him having a barney with a bloke. A really tall bloke. And I saw him pretty clearly, actually. And eventually he sort of stops dangling on the rope and says, look, I knew it was you as soon as I saw you. And Kit somehow manages to play this very cool, saying, look, it wasn't me, you're clearly mistaken. And then luckily, because before meeting this man, he'd found out his name, he was able to do a little bit of digging and found that he was a landlord in Stretford, in a pub in Stretford, and says, well, wouldn't it be a shame if somebody came and found drugs on your premises? He just basically saying, I'm going to plant...
I know, he's such a dick.
He really, really is. And then the man gives up.
He's the worst. He's the worst. He's great.
I cannot wait for him to get his comeuppance and have all the people that he's ever wronged over the years just standing there pointing and laughing as he gets sent down.
No, I know, but I don't care.
What an utter
I
git
don't care. I love
that
him.
Kit is.
I like him and I like Rich.
Poor man who's a landlord in the Stretford pub. He didn't ask for any of this to
should
happen.
mind his own business and stop looking around at things.
The thing is, I can't see in any universe Kit being sent down for this.
No.
Can you?
I don't think he's going anywhere.
I don't think he's going anywhere, so he's going to get away with it. It's very frustrating for me as a non-Kit fan. But yeah, Tuesday is when Mal wakes up, and that was really tense scene, wasn't it? Because he goes along to the hospital, and poor Mal, we're allowed to say that he was really poor Mal because he's been hit over the head. And he's just woken up after, 2-3 weeks unconscious?
In a coma
and he talked about how scared he was when he was threatened, but he can't remember who it was. He were a big guy with big strong arms, one of those gym Neanderthals. And it's like, does he know it's Kit? And Kit says, kind of has to carry on and says...
No, he says something like, something about it, their mums must be... they must have terrible mums. They must have terrible mothers, been raised badly.
Did he say... Oh, yes, he did. He did say that, didn't he? And at the end of the scene, he says, say hello to your mum for me. So it feels...
He also says... The Kit goes, I'm going to do whatever I can to get this guy. And he goes, good, because he wants locking up. Also say hello to your mum for me.
Yeah. But
so obviously the level there is that he knows that Bernie is his mum and that he's calling her crap and saying to Kit, I know it's you and I'm gonna do something, but what is it?
Yeah, and this story felt like it was like they got a spare 10 minutes in the schedule for the week. Shall we shove in another story? Because that felt like it could have carried on for the rest of the week, but Kit was already caught up with the Driscoll drama, wasn't he, for...
Imagine
Wednesday
if Megan
onwards
gets away with it because they're like, sorry, the officer assigned to your case is now being investigated, so we just put all this stuff in the shredder.
It's funny that they, as far as I remember, didn't have Kit doing, saying, reacting, anything to this Mel story, even though he quite prominently featured on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It was almost like what happened on Tuesday didn't happen. It didn't faze him whatsoever. And I know he's a bit of a cool customer as Kit, but you'd have think that he'd have still been a bit shaken.
Yeah. Oh,
but then I don't know how they would have shown it particularly.
Not speak to Sarah about this? I think he did.
Yeah, he spoke to Sarah at the beginning of Tuesday's episode, but that was before he went and met Mal.
Yeah.
So
Sarah
knows
back
that.
Home and said, "Oh my god, I think he knows."
Yeah, it's peculiar. So I'm kind of hoping this story comes back next week.
What do you think Mal is gonna do? Do you think he's going to think that he can blackmail Kit to get to Bernie? Like, be like, make your mum go on a date with me or something weird?
Yeah, something along those lines.
It's going to be
maybe.
something weird, right?
But, I mean, if a guy puts you into a coma and then you can kind of write it off and say, all right, let's shake on it, if all you do is get a date with somebody's mum.
But he's not a real... He's a psycho.
Who is? Mel?
They both are, really, aren't they? It's like two psychos. This is why it's brilliant.
If I was Mel, I'd be thinking, I just want to see Kit get sent down for this, to be honest.
Yeah,
Although
but
he doesn't...
because you're not thinking, like, I've got blackmail here. So, you know, he might very well be thinking, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with this, but information is power, and I've got power over this guy.
Maybe. I'm fairly creatively bankrupt on what's going to be happening here, to be honest. But it feels like it's the right time next week for the story to come back.
Villains in this show at the moment.
Well, yeah, that's what the flash forward's about, isn't it?
I know, but Rich isn't there on
No,
23rd
you're
of
right.
April.
Rich and Mel.
Yeah, going, oh no, what's going to happen to me?
Yeah, it is a bit villain of the week, isn't it?
Well, yeah, they've got 5 possible victims, and then 2 more people going, oh, can I be a villain as well? I love being horrible.
Yeah, and Kit, of course, the biggest villain of them all.
Well, literally.
He is the tallest villain of them all. Right, anyway, that was this week's Coronation Street. Fantastic week.
Honestly, one of the best weeks we've had.
I don't remember the last time I was so
invested
and engaged and excited for the next week, to be honest.
This was better. I think this was probably better than Corridale.
Do you reckon?
Because I saw it coming out of nowhere. It didn't come out of nowhere. God, that's wrong.
Corridale we knew was going to happen, so
yes.
we built up some expectations for it.
It can only really reach those expectations. Whereas this was like, I did not see any... I hated this storyline concept. You guys will remember I really could not say anything nice about it.
About what? The flash forward?
No, the grooming story.
Oh, the grooming.
And then this week has just been revelation and like you said, remembering things that slot back together. And it was the characters. The thing that got me is that the characters were working out before I was, because there was so much of it happening at once. And I really liked that, because sometimes it feels like we're one step ahead of everything that's happening because we speculate about things, and it was nice to be put on the back foot.
Yeah. So what does that mean in terms of score for the week?
To me, this is 4.5.
I was kind of thinking around 4.5 as well, and they don't come along very often.
No,
really.
this is super rare.
I'm gonna give 4.5 leaked emails out of 5. They had a power cut before the half an extra email could go in there. Character of the week is a really tough one, actually.
I'm gonna give it 4.5 missed marathons.
Just looking ahead there. I mean, I'm probably leaning towards Leanne as character of the week, just for consistent bitch throughout the week. Like Sam at the beginning of the week, what a star he was. And if they'd have carried him on as a prominent figure, then maybe I could have gone for Sam.
Eva's a pretty good
Eva's a really good one as well, yeah, for her.
Not falling for Megan's
Ben's always a good shout. Megan as a character of the week, quite possible, because as much of a villain as she is, she was one of the characters that I was like, what's she going to do? How's she going to get out of this one? How's she going to react? Daniel, I really enjoyed.
I think the next time we see Megan, she's going to have a plan. Because this week has just been her on the back foot. But she's a lot like and panicking and stuff. But I think she's going to regroup and come up with something and be much more calm and collected.
Well, it depends what that 12:30 on Monday appointment is, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you're right. Yeah, she can't panic here. I'm gonna go for Leanne, I think, as character of the week. I really, really enjoyed what a cow she was. A rightful cow. You know, she had every reason to bring back that Battersby spirit, and yeah, Megan got both barrels.
Righteous indignation is my favourite sort of Leanne.
That's what it was.
That's the best, when she's got something to be mad about and she just goes hell for leather. She is so much fun to watch. She is absolutely terrifying.
Yep, do not get on her wrong side. Is she your character of the week too?
Yeah, it has to be.
Double Leanne, well done, girl. Good job. Right, that is it for this week's Street Talk.